Missanelli Show on the air. Eagle talk, free agent talk. Still hot, but a lot of themes out there for Eagle fans to consider. What is this team right now? You know, there are a couple ways you can look at it. They've lost a significant portion. They've lost some guys on their defense. Significant portion remains to be seen. But they've lost some guys. They're going to lose more guys. They got to be salary cap conscious. They may lose Goddard. There's fifth-year options that they have to consider. They may lose some guys there. So the question, the overall question for today is, have you lowered your expectations for a repeat? Or are you optimistic they still can repeat? Or are you just satisfied that they won a Super Bowl last year and everything else is gravy? These are the questions that we must ask ourselves today in the Delaware Valley on a General Knowledge Wednesday. Because let's face it, when you win a Super Bowl, I don't know if you're that hungry to win another one. Once you've won it in this town, it's like people go, they exhale. And when you exhale, it means you're satisfied with one. At least we got the one. Whatever happens this year is gravy. But the other part is, because we had all this talk about, wow, look at this. They've created a dynasty. And that was before free agency hit. When they went, boom, they got to lose this guy. Boom, they got to lose this guy. Bing, we're going to trade this guy. And the trade of this guy, as I'm noticing around town, a lot of people hate this trade. Many of them right here at this radio station hate this trade, if you've been listening to the shows. So there's a lot of issues on board, and we want to discuss it with the people today, either on the telephone, preferably since it's General Knowledge Wednesday, or on the text board. We have a great prize for General Knowledge Wednesday today in any way. But Bill Colarulo here. Ray Dunn not here, being filled in by Sean Rodman today. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good morning, Michael. Looking forward to General Knowledge Wednesday, taking on our listeners today.
It'll
for the first time.
Bill versus the audience today. A little different perspective today.
They got no shot, man. They have no shot. But it's an interesting question that you pose about the Philadelphia Eagles with, have fans lowered their expectations? Because they did lose a lot of players. And if you take a step back and you look at that defense, there are 8 players that made plays in Super Bowl 59 that aren't here anymore. You have Aaron Burks, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Brandon Graham. Even Isaiah Rodgers and Avonte Maddox made plays in that Super Bowl. So you're asking a lot to replace all those guys. And I know they have younger players that people are hoping step up. But I think there's a reason why you've only seen one repeat Super Bowl winner in the last 20 years. You've only seen 3 repeat Super Bowl winners since they introduced the salary cap in 1994. It's a very difficult thing to do. And Howie Roseman, man, I know in Howie we trust, but he's going to have to figure out how you replace some of these guys. And I know yesterday everybody had their chest out. Those who thought the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson move was fine. Oh, they're just going to trust Sidney Brown. Well, if they're going to trust Sidney Brown, why were they in on Justin Reed last night? Why were the Eagles in on Justin Reed? Because it's being reported they were one of the 3 final teams trying to sign Justin Reed, who ends up signing with the Saints. So maybe there's more moves to be made, but right now it's a little hard to say, yes, this team's definitely going to repeat. They got a lot of work to do.
The fact that they were interested in Justin Reed, I think, speaks volumes about how they felt about CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like he was dispensable for them. But let's get back to the 3 because I really want to know how people feel about this. You do you understand that when they win a Super Bowl, people get a little mollified, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I saw all over social yesterday a lot of people just saying, "What are you complaining about? We won a Super Bowl." Where it's no. I'm on the next season now. I'm happy that we had the Super Bowl, but let's try to repeat.
That's really interesting. Again, have you lowered your expectations for a repeat? Are you just satisfied with one, or do you still think they can repeat? Because there are a lot of people that think that, hey, listen, this is a miracle organization. They do the right things. They're going to figure out a way to replace all these guys. Conversely, and I hate to say this, but reality sometimes strikes for team executives. Howie Roseman knows the same thing that you just said about how difficult it is to repeat. And he probably, in the recesses of his mind, and when he's really being honest with himself, saying, we're not going to repeat next year. So what we got to do is just try to fill in until we can get the strength again a year later or 2 years later to make another Super Bowl run. Could that be the case?
Yeah, when you look at some of these moves and understanding that there's a lot of contracts that are going to come due over the next 2 seasons, like I wouldn't be surprised if they extend Cam Jurgens as soon as the league year starts. We'll probably get that news coming up shortly, I would think. But you also have to look ahead. They have the Jordan Davis 5th-year option, and then I'm sure they want to get him extended. Next season, they're going to have to Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. Then you look 2 years in advance, you're going to have the Quinyon Mitchells and the Cooper DeJean. So you could be right. They could be looking at this as a season where we're going to be competitive, we're going to be good. The chances of us repeating are slim, so we don't mind taking a little bit of a step back, and we'll get all of our guys under contract, and we'll go all in again in a couple years. That's a possibility. But I look around the NFC, and I know the Vikings are getting better. I know the Commanders are getting better. This team still has a ton of talent. I know defensively, I just went through all the 8 players that made contributions in the Super Bowl. But you look at that offense, man. Look, what I think they're going to need, Mike, this season, and I know a lot of things can change with the draft, and there's still a long time of free agency where you could sign people, trades could happen. I don't think you can have the 29th ranked pass offense this year. Like, I no matter what they do going forward, I still think you're going to have to lean on Jalen Hurts. You're going to have to lean on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Yes, you'll have your rushing attack with Saquon, but I think you're not going to have a number 1 defense. I think it's crazy for us to believe it'll be the number 1 defense. So, in turn, you're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more.
Really interesting point. The backbone of their success, let's face it, for all what Saquon Barkley did and Jalen Hurts at the end, the backbone was the defense all year. They are now significantly weaker defensively, at least at this point. Now, you never know how they're going to fill it in, but at least at this point. So you're right. They're going to have to score more points. To score more points, you're probably going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. It's going to whack out their whole the MO on how they played football last year. New offensive coordinator, the whole bit. So this is really interesting work that the Eagles have to do. But I really want to know what side. My microphone went limp again.
Yeah, there it is.
Sometimes it goes limp, Bill.
You need the blue pill.
I hate when that happens. In any event, I want to know how people feel about this. Have you lowered your expectations because they won a Super Bowl and you go, we're happy? We worry? Or do you still think they can repeat? Are you that confident that they're that good of an organization or have you lowered your expectations? You go, that's okay. We'll talk about it. It's General Knowledge Wednesday today. Now, our prize, let me see. Where is our prize?
You told me yesterday we have a food gift certificate. I didn't see that.
I was told that we did. Where's it? We don't even have our prize listed, do we?
I thought we were giving away 5.
We're giving away 5 knockout.
I was told we were also giving away a gift card. So we're going to have to straighten this out.
I'll double check and look into that.
In any event,
because if you beat me, you deserve a lot because it's not easy.
Yeah, a gift card and 5 spots. We're giving away 6 prizes today. So we got to have 6 right answers from the audience at least.
That's not easy.
It isn't easy. This is why I put them on notice here. On call, the audience. And the only way we can pull this off is by phone calls. And I know that the call volume has been down a little bit because of the snafu where our whole system melted down. And a lot of people are confused out there on whether they can call or when they're on hold, they're not hearing the show. Trust me when I tell you, you can call. We have a temporary system up that allows you to get through with a phone call. So the number is 610-632-0975. The topics for today, general knowledge, musical acts by the letter C, which will be an audio quiz.
Uh-oh.
And Philadelphia Phillies trivia.
Man, Ray would have dominated.
I got my Phillies on today. I got my Philadelphia.
That's a Rally House purchase.
It is a Rally House purchase. And I wore it because I want to kind of segue into baseball. And also, Flyer fans, I am going to put you on alert today. I need to hear from you when it comes to John Tortorella. because there's a real famous hockey player who ain't with him. And we'll get into that story during the course of today as well. 610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show's on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
There's no reason to panic, but we've seen how we blow an offseason.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. I am really kind of surprised how much dislike there is out there for the CJ Gardner Johnson trade. Are you noticing this, Bill? I mean, I didn't really take inventory of that yesterday when they made the trade because I go, okay, well, you know, they were just kind of tired of the act. And they thought they could upgrade it. He wasn't that good of a player anyway. And even if they didn't get the upgrade, they still got a guy they're grooming for the position. So no harm, no foul. But a lot of people do not like the trade. A lot of people hate this trade, Bill. Have you noticed this?
I have. It's interesting because up until that moment, I think a majority of the Eagles fans were, all of this was expected. You knew you weren't going to be able to sign Milton Williams and Josh Sweat and Zach Bond. Now, they were able to get Zach Bond under contract. And I think most people were trusting the Howie Roseman plan. Then the news drops that they trade CJ, and I think a lot of fans are starting to come to the other side here, which is, what the hell's going on? Like, why would you move on from this guy? And there was no rumblings that this was going to happen. Like, we're hearing rumblings that Goddard's probably on his way out. So I think people have an opportunity to anticipate it. This was a shock. I mean, the CJ one came out of nowhere. Came out of absolutely nowhere. So we'll see. I mean, look, and I'm looking at the YouTube chat now. People saying defense wins championships. Always had and always will. And when you completely gut your defense the way the free agency and now the trade has done, it's not going to be easy, man, next year.
All right, here's another big question for the people. Does Howie have the clout to produce a gap year? Does he have the clout with the fan base?
Absolutely.
He does.
Yeah.
So if he has the clout to produce a gap year, then why me worry? Like Howie Roseman is saying, listen, free agent is going to look a little different. He didn't say free agent was going to bail our team out of a championship run. He said free agency is going to be a little different. Have patience. So does he have the clout himself to produce a gap year? If people are upset at defense winning championships, you're telling me he doesn't have the clout to do it.
Well, when you say produce a gap year, you mean that this season may be a little bit of a step back.
Reset.
Yeah, a little bit of a reset year. It's still early. I mean, you never know how he could pull a rabbit out of his hat. I mean, they could make a trade or sign somebody around the draft, and you're just like, damn, didn't see that one coming. He's done that before. I mean, A.J. Brown they brought in on draft night, if you remember. A lot of these big signings that they've had have happened later. But, yeah, I think that Howie Roseman's at the point where we talked about this, I think even before the Super Bowl. I'd give him a lifetime contract at this point. I mean, I think he has earned where even if they do have a step-back season, I don't think anybody's going to be saying, damn, Howie Roseman, get him out of here. It would be like, okay, it was a tough year. They needed to take care of some of their people. They had to make some tough decisions. We'll get him next year. It's amazing. That's where we are as an Eagles fan base. Listen, we'll get him next year.
They're going to try to win a Super Bowl. However, I believe in Howie's mind, it's like, listen, it's not realistic that we're going to win another Super Bowl next year. So we have to reset this team without the fans realizing we're actually resetting. He's slick like that. He's crafty like that. And I think that is in the back of his mind, saying it's unreal. We're going to lose some players. That was inevitable. Because of these players we're going to lose, there's no way we can repeat. So we have to figure out a way to reset without the fans knowing we're resetting. Is he tricking the fans?
Tricking? You may be onto something because you look, they are the only team, and Sean, you can fact check me here, but I think the Eagles are the only team that have not signed an outside free agent yet this offseason. Mm-hmm. So I know
all we're hearing is more things are coming down the pike.
Yes,
more eliminations.
Yeah, Adam Schefter joined the morning show this morning and said they're going to shed more salary. Not that they're going to go out and spend. They're going to shed more salary. So you may be right in saying that he is being very sly here in this is a reset year, but I'm not going to let anybody know it.
He's got a gold watch. He likes to look at it every day. He'll show the fans the gold watch. He doesn't need a gold watch on the other wrist right now.
The only reason that I would disagree with you, though, because it does appear that way from the outside when you just look at letting all these guys go. Look at how much money and talent they have on the offensive side of the football. I mean, you still have Jalen Hurts at quarterback. You still have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, arguably one of the best wide receiver duos, if not the best, in the NFL. You still are going to have, even though we don't know who the right guard's going to be, you're still going to have one of the best offensive lines in football. But do you win differently this year? Not on your defense. You win with your offense.
Yeah? They good enough to do that? You going to give up 30 points a game with this defense? We'll see what happens. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show. Your calls will go to the text board after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles to trade CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. CJ Gardner Johnson is reportedly being traded to the Houston Texans for guard Kenyon Green. The Eagles will receive a 2025 fifth-round pick, and the Texans will get a 2025 sixth-round pick. The Eagles have not agreed to a deal with the player yet in free agency, and like Bill just mentioned, are the only team to not sign a free agent outside of their team the previous year. ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas earlier, and he said that he doesn't believe that we will see many new big signings coming up, but more likely to see some guys going out still. The Flyers fell to the Senators last night, losing in its fifth game in a row. Sixers are back in action tonight as the team hosts the Raptors. Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Kyle Lowry remain out. Kelly Oubre Jr. and Andre Drummond are both questionable for the Sixers. You can listen to the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And this update is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping, and code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fanatic Weekend with Andrew DiCecco.
7-5, The Fanatic. All right, General Knowledge Wednesday, we are just informed that we have a $100 gift certificate to Nebraska Steakhouse.
That's huge, man.
Added with the 5 spots in the knockout tournament. So there you go.
And all you got to do is beat me.
All you got to do is get a correct answer to qualify.
Oh, that's correct. You can qualify.
Correct answer qualifies you to be selected at the end. Now, think about it. If we get 6 correct answers,
everybody wins.
Everybody's going to win today.
Yeah, because you would either get $100 in Nebraska or a spot in the knockout.
But there's 5 knockout spots and only 1 Nebraska. Who gets what? It's all determined randomly. So you may be this is like finding the gold coin in the egg.
The gold coin in the egg.
Yeah, like an Easter egg hunt. You find the gold coin, and I thought you were
going to say the golden ticket in the Wonka bar.
That was a variation of that. Was what I said. I didn't want to just copy the Wonka thing.
That's 2 days in a row with a Willy Wonka reference. Because yesterday was Veruca Salt.
Right.
That was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Apparently it still is. Now
it's a great movie. Not the new one. The Gene Wilder one.
We talked about this Howie going. He's got the sly wink to his personnel from the front office. We can't win another Super Bowl. We can't repeat. So let's try to do the best we can. Convince the people that we can repeat. In reality, we can repeat in 2 years when we get all this in tow with the defense.
Now, it's interesting, though, because there's a lot of we talk about faith in Howie. I'm also seeing a lot of, and understandably so, but faith in Vic Fangio, where it's, it doesn't matter. Vic will coach him up.
Well,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
I have that kind of faith in Vic Fangio. Now, I'm just saying, and I'm just musing here. Like I don't know what Howie Roseman's thinking, but it would not be a far reach to think that he's thinking like that because he's got 20 draft picks in the next 2 years.
He's got a lot.
I think it's 20.
But he's got a lot because they're also going to get compensatory picks in the 2026 draft, most likely, in light of what happened.
I think that comes out to be 20 picks in the next 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, let me see, because I think I have the updated list here.
Okay.
So this coming season, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I don't know what they're going to have. I'll have to look up because they don't do the compensatory picks for next year just yet. In fact, that just came out. So I'll look it up. But they do have a lot of picks in the next couple of drafts, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, there you go.
But so you just said something interesting, though. You said you feel the same way about Fangio, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, here's the only reason I question that. I have total faith in Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. I do. But if you go back to his introductory press conference, when he was asked, what makes your defense so good, his answer was good players. So I completely agree that you should trust Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. But I also don't want to act like you could just give him chicken bleat and expect them to make chicken salad. Like, the guy needs players. So for us to just act, it doesn't matter. Yeah, no worries.
See, I look at it differently. I think that he's consulted on what guys are valuable and what guys aren't.
I agree with that.
We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, I agree.
So he goes, that guy can play, this guy can't play. We'll discard this guy, we'll discard this guy. CJ Gardner Johnson, yeah, he did okay, but I'm always wary of him. He's going to mess up. He's going to take a bad penalty, whatever. So we can move on from this guy and this guy. I like this guy who we're cultivating to be a starter. And so maybe he feels that way about Sidney Brown. Maybe he feels that way about Ajomo or Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith and guys like that. He just feels it. He's got an instinct. He's a very venerable defensive coordinator, and I think that they listen to him.
I agree with you on that. I do think that they're not trading Chauncey Gardner-Johnson without Vic Fangio signing off. Now, the Milton Williams and the Josh Sweat, they just couldn't afford them. So even if Fangio wanted them, which I'm sure he would.
He said, how he goes, these guys are off limits. We're going to lose them. We can't pay them.
Yeah.
But we got to make decisions on these other guys. Do you like Isaiah Rodgers enough to keep him? Nah. Do you like what linebacker they lose? Do you like him?
Oren Burks.
Oren Burks. Do you like Oren Burks enough to? He gives you the He gives you the Italian. You know.
Now, don't be surprised though. Since we now know that they were in on the Justin Reed conversation before Reed signed with the Saints. There's an obvious connection here that we thought maybe would have come to fruition last year and it didn't, and that would be Justin Simmons, who has played under Vic Fangio, had some of his best seasons under Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
He went on a podcast yesterday and said he'd love to come to Philadelphia. So I know he's 31, doesn't really help you get younger, but if the Eagles are looking for a veteran option to pair with Reed Blankenship or even to compete with Sidney Brown, I think Justin Simmons would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they were. His name was mentioned last year.
It was.
Yeah. So I get it. All right, let's get to our text board. Sean Rodman, we have any text on so far?
Yes, we do. A number of texts coming in. First up, we have Marshall from Florida. He says, it has been less than 48 hours. Give Howie a break. Another texter.
I don't know what that means. Give Howie a break. In what context? We're giving him a break. He got rid of some guys. Like, what do you expect? Like, are we talking about CJ Gardner Johnson? Because the other guys, they made a decision on it. They're not worthy enough to pay. So, what do you mean we're not giving them a break?
Yeah, that's the. I get that it's too early. I understand it. But you also, when we say give him a break, it's only been 48 hours. You could look at it the other way and say, yeah, in only 48 hours, you lost 8 contributors on defense in only 48 hours.
And it's the reality that you're going to lose some players. So I don't understand why we're not giving them a break. We're not here saying keep everybody he screwed up. We're not saying that.
Yeah, the only one.
This is what fans get so crazy about.
They do.
Like, when you make comments about like reality, they think it's like you're going to be an anti-team.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who on social with some of the stuff that we've been clipping or posting. Half the fan base has that mentality. We're like, relax. We just won the Super Bowl. Howie knows what he's doing.
Yeah, well, okay. What's next, Sean?
Next up, we have no name on this one, but we are in a new era of Eagles football. Now that Howie has drafted really good players and doesn't have to build through free agency, we now need to plan on signing our draft picks versus in the past, we knew we were going to release them.
What is that? I don't even know what that means. What's that mean?
I think what he's talking about is
They have
previous drafts of the Philadelphia Eagles, you didn't have to worry about re-upping your own guys. Whereas now, when we look at the last few drafts, 2022, Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, maybe Nakobe Dean if they want to rely on him. His injury history is a little bit tough, and Grant Calcaterra. Well, all of those guys are eligible for new deals. And then you go to the 2023 draft next year, they're going to have to pay Carter, Nolan Smith, maybe Tyler Steen, Sidney Brown, Keely Ringo, Mauro Ajomo.
This is the reality of the NFL. Every team has to get along with fill-ins from time to time. But if your core is better, the fill-ins don't matter as much.
Yeah, when you have the good core. But to that texter's point, which I understand, it's actually not a bad point. Look at their 2019 and 2020 drafts, right? You didn't have to really worry about re-upping any of those guys with the exception of Jalen Hurts in 2020 because Jalen Reagor, Davion Taylor, Kevon Wallace, Jack Driscoll.
Taylor. Oh, my God. Remember him?
Yeah, Andre Dillard, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Sharif Miller. Now, Miles Sanders was in there, but they didn't pay him.
Sharif Miller.
So now that he has had success in drafting, it's a good point. You have to worry now about re-upping these guys. And, God knows, next offseason, what the hell is Jalen Carter going to get? I mean, if Milton Williams just got over $100 million, what are you paying Jalen Carter next year?
You're right about that. All right. Have you lowered your expectations for a repeat? Are you satisfied that they can repeat? Or are you just satisfied with one Super Bowl and you're like the honeybees that are floating around in the mist where they're just kind of mollified and they're happy and they got that little buzz going. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. General Knowledge Wednesday. You're afraid to play against Bill, I think.
I agree.
You're afraid of Bill. I can't believe it. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher. The best show ever.
Show 610-632-0975. I just passed some candy out there in the lobby. I gotta ask you a question because I happen to think that Butterfinger is an underrated candy. Are you into a Butterfinger?
Here's my problem with the Butterfinger.
Okay.
It gets so caught in my teeth, man. Like, you know what I'm talking about? You get it. It doesn't come off.
Well, of course, that's the problematic, but that's not really the question.
That wouldn't be my go-to. And I saw that bag of chocolate.
I'm just talking about underrated candy, but not ones that you would choose. Let's face it. The ones we would choose are Kit Kat, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Snickers, Twix, and what else?
I think you're underestimating another chocolate bar that's in that bag out there.
What?
The $100 grand. $100 grand's a good chocolate bar.
Yeah, but that's obscure. The major candy.
Did you say just a plain Hershey?
All right, you want to go Hershey?
I like the Hershey with almonds.
Okay. Yeah, Hershey with almonds now.
See, I like the nuts.
We'll go Hershey candy bar.
I like the nuts and the chocolate.
Hershey candy bar. All right, those are the go-tos. The underrated ones I'm talking about. Like the ones that you would never think of getting. Like Butterfinger is one of them. Heath bar is another one.
My grandpa's favorite, the Fifth Avenue.
The Fifth Avenue bar?
Big fan.
All right, that's like a Butterfinger.
It is
similar.
It also gets stuck in your teeth a little bit.
Right.
You know what else is a good one? The Score bar. You ever have the Score that has the toffee inside?
Score?
Yeah, did you ever have that? Is that an old-timer?
I don't know if that's an old-timer or a new-timer.
I think it's an old one.
It is?
It's
What?
black with the orange letters, the Score bar.
I don't think I know what that is.
Am I saying it wrong? Yeah, the Score bar. People know what I'm talking about.
SKOR?
SKOR.
Yeah, with a two thing, the dots above the O.
I think you're correct. Go on.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I don't know
Score
if
bar.
I've ever had it.
It's a good one.
But
It's
I'm saying,
chocolate-covered toffee.
What else is underrated? Butterfinger, Heath bar, Fifth Avenue bar. Very underrated.
Three Musketeers, people are saying in the YouTube chat.
Nougat, common stuff. Not underrated at all. Bland.
You don't like the Three Musketeers.
That's all right. It's not like underrated.
People are saying the Baby Ruth.
Baby Ruth, pretty good.
I got one texter saying the whatchamacallits are very underrated.
whatchamacallit I liked as a kid.
Whatchamacallits? The hell are they?
You don't remember? It's a whatchamacallit. That's what it is.
No idea what you're talking about, the whatchamacallits. Now, notice that neither Mounds nor Almond Joy is on this list of anything.
I hate coconut. I hate coconut.
They're in the purgatory candy bars.
Yeah, I can't do it. I don't like, when I talk about getting stuck in your teeth, I hate the texture of coconut in the Almond Joy. Hate it.
Now, for me, Raisinets is underrated, but I know you like Goobers.
Goobers is the way to go, dude. See, I like the salty sweet. When you do a Raisinette, it's sweet on sweet. I don't like that. That's a sweet on sweet.
The raisin balances the chocolate. The peanut doesn't balance the chocolate. How about this weird candy bar, which I never understood? Payday.
Yeah, not a fan.
We're coated in peanuts.
Not a fan of that at all. Now, people are saying, I've never had this. A few people in the YouTube chat are saying the Take 5.
I got a couple texts on that too.
I've never had that bar.
I don't even know what that is.
I think it has if I'm not mistaken, it may have a pretzel in it as well, chocolate.
Yeah, these are nouveau candies. I'm thinking I'm going like old time candy.
Old timer. Someone just checked in. Susan Pulser, the Milky Way. That's an old timer.
Yeah, but it's like the Three Musketeers. They're in the same family. There's nothing original about the Milky Way.
What about the Nestle Crunch Bar?
Oh, no,
that's
one
a
of my
good
favorites.
One. No one said that in the chat.
I'm replacing Hershey with the Nestle Crunch.
Yeah, the Nestle Crunch is a good one.
Absolutely, a home run. But they changed the formula of it. Doesn't taste the same.
I think everything's
I'll tell you what I used to like, the Chunky. They changed the formula of that as well.
The Chunky?
Open wide for Chunky.
I've never heard of that.
Come on,
dude.
the Chunky was like a little square. It's got nuts, walnuts, and raisins in it. Come on, man. The Chunky's been around forever.
The Twix. Did we say the Twix? People are saying that.
I got that on my list, man.
There are a lot, dude.
On my top 5 candies.
It's so funny, though. We're talking Eagles, right? We're talking free agency trades. Not a lot of engagement. We talk chocolate bars, man. Boom!
No, but
people go nuts.
But we have our first contender in general knowledge. on the line. Greg, not from Bethlehem, not Dr. Mad Elf, but Greg from Lancaster. Greg, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, Mike, long time. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. This is my first call-in since the new show. I love it. You, Ray, and Bill do a fantastic show. My wife and I watch almost every day.
Beautiful. Thank you, buddy.
It's great. No, seriously, it's great radio. It's very entertaining, and we love it.
Thank you, buddy.
And no, I'm not Greg from Bethlehem. I love Greg from Bethlehem, but it's me, Greg from Lancaster. But Bill said something that kind of ticked me off, and well, it didn't really tick me off. It's a phrase I hate: defense wins championships. That's hooey.
That was a YouTube comment, by the way, not from me. I was reading a YouTube comment.
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah.
I'm killing the messenger. Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. Bring it.
But if defense wins championships, the Buddy Ryan Eagles would have at least one ring, and that it was probably more true back then than it is now.
Well, I think you're right. I think this is an offensive league right now, Greg. I agree. But last year was an aberration. They won with a controlled offense and a really good defense.
Well, I understand that, but that doesn't mean you can't. And I'm not even nervous about the defense. I think you have to wait to see the finished product. Mm-hmm. But even if they drop off a little bit, I don't think the sky's falling.
Well, what do you mean, Skyfall? We're talking about whether you can repeat. And I'm saying that Howie knows they can't repeat. This way, Howie is actually creating a gap year to contend the following year. But he can't let the fans know this is a gap year.
No, I'm not buying that. I think they'll be fine.
Okay. All right. They're going to be fine losing all those players?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm waiting to see what gets on the field for opening day.
Okay, I got you. That's a very structured argument.
If I don't like it that day, I'll call in and say, what the hell did you do?
like what we do. All right, Greg, general knowledge. Now, it's the audience versus Bill today. No Ray. So Bill, a little more experience may be tougher to beat. So here is your first general knowledge question. What type of crab is known for using the discarded shells of other sea creatures?
Hermit.
That is correct.
Wow.
The hermit crab. All right, Greg.
What a start for the callers.
Greg gets on the board for the audience, 1-0. So, Bill, here is your general knowledge question.
Oh, man.
Who is Thursday named after?
Who?
Why is it called Thursday?
Oh, dude, I got no clue, man.
Really?
No clue.
Greek mythology.
Thor.
Correct. See, I gave you the hint.
You gave me the hint.
I don't know, Sean. I gave him the hint. Is that should that be? He said he had no clue first until I gave him the hint.
I don't think I should get it.
You don't think so?
I don't think you should get it.
I don't think I should because I had no clue.
Let the chat board decide. Should Bill get that question after I gave him the hint? Thor, as in Thursday, actually, though it was kind of anglicized to Thursday.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
Ever. Let me see.
What's Wednesday?
Adam's Family. I'm looking to see. People are saying to give it to me. I don't think I should get it. I'm going to disqualify myself.
You are?
Oh, no. Now they're coming in. No. A lot of no's.
No?
Yeah, a lot of no's saying I should not get it.
All right. Well, it's 1-0 then. 610-632-0975. Very exciting. General knowledge. Musical acts by the letter C, and we're going to play the music to determine that.
The Cure.
And
Friday, I'm in love.
how do you know that's one of the songs?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
And Philadelphia Phillies trivia in honor of your fighting Phils in spring training. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles to trade CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. And CJ Gardner Johnson is reportedly being traded to Houston for Texans guard Kenyon Green. The Eagles will receive a 2025 fifth-round pick, and the Texans will get a 2025 sixth-round pick. The Eagles have not agreed to a deal with the player yet in free agency. Just like Bill said, they are the only team to not agree with a deal outside of their team. And ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas, and he believes the Birds may see a few more players go before they bring a few in. The Flyers fell to the Senators last night, losing its fifth game in a row. Sixers are back in action tonight as the team hosts the Raptors. And you can listen to that game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This report is also brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry. You can still hear all your
question will be an audio pop music quiz. Oh, Root Down. Root Down. You know who does Root Down? You just heard Root Down?
Was that Beastie
The
Boys?
Beasties.
The Beastie Boys.
Root Down is one of their more obscure songs.
I've heard it, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you the name of the song.
That's nice work by Sean Rodman. All right, so here's the deal. We're getting a lot of information on the chat board about anybody who doubts Howie, blah, 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 blah. Crossing Swords has this. Of course, they always like to make people feel bad with their takes. How could you doubt Howie? Nobody's doubting Howie. We are understanding the reality of this particular situation. Could they possibly be as strong defensively next year as they were this year? No, they can't. Now, it's not like they're not going to try. They're going to absolutely try to fill in. They're going to promote some younger guys that they hope can blossom and all that stuff. But the reality is they're probably not going to be the number one defense in the league next year, right?
You would think that. I mean, that'd be a big ask. I mean, they were number 2 in terms of points against, number 1 in yards against this year. I mean, losing all of these guys and expecting to do that. Now, maybe they don't have to be, though. Like, maybe they don't have to be the number 1 defense. Like I was saying earlier, if you rely more heavily on your passing offense and you're able to score a little bit more points, because they finished 8th in the league or 7th in the league in points, so it wasn't terrible.
What are you going to do? You're going to stop giving the ball to Saquon 25 times? That's what they would have to do.
Honestly, I kind of hope that they do.
Really?
I think that when you look at the reality of the amount of touches that Saquon Barkley had this past season, to ask him to do that again over how many games Saquon played last year? He played 16 regular season games because they rested him the Week 17 game, and then they played 4 playoff games. I mean, you're talking about 20 games, over 400 touches. That's why Kenny Gainwell signed in Pittsburgh, I think. Was it Pittsburgh, Sean, that Gainwell just signed?
Yes, reported to Pittsburgh on a 1-year deal.
So I know people are excited about Will Shipley. I think you got to go and get a veteran back, and I would not lean on Saquon as much as you did this year. I just think the reality of him being able to stay healthy again with that many touches is not.
I get it. I understand it, but it's you're going away from what makes you successful to protect them, and I don't know if that works either. All right. So again, the general question here is: there's actually 2 questions on the board. One is, have you lowered your expectations for a repeat? Or do you still think they can repeat? Or are you just satisfied with one? And the second one is, a lot of people hate the trade of CJ Gardner Johnson. And I want to hear from those people. So to get in, it's 610-632-0975. You are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. We broadcast from the Comcast Business Studios. Empowering possibilities. That's what we're doing here. Thank you very much. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to lay it out really simply. We take phone calls. We especially like to take phone calls on General Knowledge Wednesday because it's the only way we can play General Knowledge Wednesday. A lot of people wanted us to bring back General Knowledge Wednesday. We're bringing it back. If we don't get phone calls, we may have to decide to abandon General Knowledge Wednesday.
Which we don't want to see happen.
No, we don't.
But we need contestants.
Yes, we do need contestants, and the only way you can get on is to give us a call. And I know people are the unfortunate part about this whole phone collapse is that people got used to the fact that there's no calls, and they don't feel the need to call. And we're trying to say, no, nothing really has changed now. We're still able to take phone calls, and one of the things I love about Sports Talk Radio is the interaction between caller. Like, I don't want to hear myself talk for 4 hours. I don't even want to hear Bill talk for a half hour, but much less 4 hours. So I need the engagement of the people because that's what makes the world go round. Your opinion of sports. Like, you're going to call me and tell me why you hate the CJ Gardner Johnson trade. This is a dialogue that we need to have.
Yeah, and our YouTube chatters talk a big game when it comes to general knowledge, and they love to put me down. Why don't you pick up the phone? I'm challenging our YouTube
chat. Go head
chat.
to head with Bill.
Yeah, I'm challenging him.
Put him down live on the air.
You know what? I'm putting the number into the YouTube chat in case they can't see it on the screen because it runs along the bottom.
It is 610-632-0975.
I want our loyal YouTube chat to call in and take me on general knowledge because I don't think they can do it.
All right. Let's go to Eric in South Philly to start the 11 o'clock hour. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Mike.
Hello, Eric.
Yeah, Mike. Can you hear me, Mike?
I got you, buddy.
Yeah. I just wanted to call in to share my opinion on the whole CJ GJ thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
It definitely was a shock to me. I'm not going to sit here and act like he wasn't a big contributor to the defense. And when he's on the team, Mike, you can definitely tell the difference in the defense and how aggressive we are and all that stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I trust Howie enough to just sit back and just kind of see like what he's going to.
Oh, we lost Eric.
Oh, no. See, this is what deters people from calling. The phone system. All right. Eric, you can call back if you'd like to because this is an audio. I'm looking forward to the audio songs with Bill for the general knowledge question. However, there are two things with CJ Gardner Johnson. One is you go to Vic Fangio. You going to miss this guy?
Yeah,
And he goes, eh. And then you go, okay, well, since Vic's not going to miss this guy, he thinks we can fill in with Sidney Brown. He's a pain in the ass. Easy decision. That's what I think happened with CJ Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, because what got reported, and we didn't hear anybody from the Eagles, but you hear reports from people who were connected saying that this was financially based. And CJ actually spoke. Did you know that? On his Twitch.
Yes, he did.
While he was gaming.
Do we have that?
Sean, do we have the CJ audio?
Yes, I do. I was going to use it at News at Noon, but we can.
Okay, now you use it at News at Noon.
So listen to that coming up at noon. They all made it out like it was just financial, which I could have believed if we didn't hear that they were in on Justin Reed last night. And Justin Reed got, let me look at this contract, because if they were anywhere close to this, 3 years, $31.5 million is what the Saints gave to ex-chief safety Justin Reed. Now, clearly the Eagles didn't match that, or he probably would have come to Philly instead of New Orleans. But if they were even in that conversation, I mean, you're talking $10 million a year. So if you're moving on from CJ for financial reasons, why are you trying to go Justin Reed then?
Jeff McClain recently had put out that he says, not saying the Eagles didn't express interest in Justin Reed, but they weren't close to what he ultimately got from what I understand.
Here's my philosophy on CJ Gardner Johnson. It's a general philosophy when you deal with grenades. If somebody tosses you a grenade, you put it in the bomb container immediately. You don't hold on to it because you never know when it's going to explode.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's and you look at CJ's career. There's probably a reason why this is now his fourth team.
Yeah.
Right? He's got the Saints, he's got the Eagles, he's got the Lions, and now he'll go to the Texans.
Well, fifth, really, because he's with the Eagles twice. So
true.
Yeah, 5 transactions.
5 different teams in what?
Yeah.
6 seasons? 7 seasons?
He's Kelly Oubre.
I think that's not giving CJ enough credit, though. Because at least
Kelly Oubre scores.
At least CJ's won something. Right? I mean, at least Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he went to a Super Bowl here 2 years
Kelly
ago.
Oubre hasn't come close to winning anything?
Has he? What's Kelly Oubre's career been like?
He's been losing teams constantly.
Yeah, so. And I'm looking at the McClain tweet. Money was still a reason for trading CJ Gardner-Johnson. See, now, Jeff McClain, obviously tight end. My spidey senses go up here and say, someone leaked this information to Jeff McClain because they knew it didn't look good. When you say you traded Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for money reasons, and then it's reported by James Palmer that you're in on Justin Reed, now they got to deflect and they got to say, no, we were never close on the numbers. It was still financially based. Because clearly you know the market. When you get in on the conversation with Justin Reed, yeah, maybe you don't think he's going to get over $10 million a year, but you know the guy's not going to sign for peanuts.
Yeah.
And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you saved like $200,000, Mike, this season.
All right, so since Eric dropped off, we're going to give you the lead-in for the audio musical acts by the letter C.
Oh, I'm starting us off?
You'll start us off, and then we'll catch up with an audience member later. So this is your chance to tie.
All right, I need.
Oh no, wait. Are you ahead 1-0?
No, the callers are.
Callers
you
are ahead.
didn't give me Thursday.
Oh, that's right. You didn't get Thursday. All right, so here it is. Here's our audio musical act by the letter C. Bill, kick it, Sean.
Christina Aguilera.
Oh my God.
Genie in a bottle.
Oh my God. That's unbelievable. The first 3 notes.
You forget when I grew up, man.
Oh my God.
This is when I was in high school, baby.
By the letter C, it is Christina Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle. I'm shocked that you got it that quickly.
Gotta rub me the right way.
That's very impressive.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right, let's take a break. 610. I'm bewildered. 610-632-0975. Audience, you gonna let him get away with that? Mike Missanelli Show continues.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win. Play that song.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Missanelli Show. 97.5, The Fanatic. You know, this is Ou du Tre.
I don't know it. Foreign band, I assume?
What? No, I don't know. It's the chick. What's her name?
Munya.
Un, deux, tres.
Does that mean 1, 2, 3?
It just does. Very nicely done. It is the Mike Missanelli Show, and as you can see, Bill Colorula today has on his size S T-shirt.
It's a large.
I think it would fit me.
It's a size S, just so he can stretch it over his ample.
First of all, it is a large, and if you look,
it's no large. That's no large.
Look how baggy
well,
it
guess
is.
what? You need an XL then, if that's a large.
it's baggy.
Baggy. Get out of here. You got that thing painted on.
It's baggy.
Dude, come on, man.
It's just, listen,
What, did you try to do bicep curls this morning
so
too?
obnoxious.
you know, it's a baggy shirt.
Oh, it's a baggy my ass.
It's a
My ass
large.
is a baggy shirt. All right.
My God.
In any event, here's the question. This is like a topic inside a topic. I'm really curious to know about this. Why don't people call anymore?
Well, I think it is.
What are the theories on why people don't call anymore? I'm perplexed by this whole phenomenon.
All right, let me ask you.
All right, go ahead.
Because you grew up in a generation that didn't even have cell phones, right? And now everybody has a cell phone.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, we had cell phones, but like text messaging wasn't that big yet.
Yeah.
Everything is transitioning to text. Like, I send more text messages to my friends,
Well, I do
to my
too.
family. So I think it's the same thing with us, is people would rather text than call anymore. It's just easier. It's quicker. It's instant gratification.
I get it, but when you're talking sports with your buddies, you're not texting. You're talking sports. You're not texting your buddy. Hey Jim, you're getting together. You're talking. You're on the golf course. You're talking. You're not texting. You're talking. This is sports talk radio. There is, believe me, I text more. I don't like talking on the phone ever.
I think that's what you get, though.
But this is different. This is different venue.
But I
it's
think
like this deserves discussion and not texts.
I think that with the short attention spans that people have now, and the fact that you could send a text message and get instant gratification, it's sent, it's done, they think if they call, they're going to have to sit on hold. They got to wait. They got to talk to a producer. They got to wait to get on. So I think that's part of the reason. Now, we're trying to get people on quickly because we're doing General Knowledge Wednesday, so don't let that deter you. But I think that's what it is.
But see, when I first came back in August, we still took a lot of phone calls. Like, what has been the transition? Like, I would like, if it's our phone problems and we're just conditioned not to take calls, it would, that 1 week, 2 week period took people out of the mindset of calling. I'd like to know what it is. I like to learn about people's behavior patterns.
Yeah, so we want people to call us to tell us why they're not calling us.
All right.
Or send a text as to why you're not calling.
So what happens is the next caller of the audience gets a music question, and then we segue into Philadelphia Phillies trivia.
I'm looking forward to that. Now, people are saying on the YouTube chat, and this has been a few days now where they've said this, and I don't know, was this a segment that you used to do, is they want us to bring back sound off.
Well, I mean, that's at the end of the show, and people leave voice messages.
Yeah.
That's like leaving a text message. It's kind of similar.
Yeah, so they've been saying this, and I don't know if it's the same guy. Miguel said it again. He keeps tagging me every day on YouTube.
Yeah,
bring it back.
If you get a thought, you can call the voice line and leave a message, like the old answering machine system.
Gotcha.
Was what that was. But I don't think
that doesn't help us with the call.
I don't think we can set up an answering machine system right now with the way we're all whacked out. You know what I'm saying? We had a normal system back then where we could do something like that.
Yeah, just text.
This is a temporary, you can call in and we can take a couple at a time situation. And I think that's what did it. I think the meltdown of our phone system conditioned people and they lost their enthusiasm to call. Because you're right. Yesterday you said when you're on hold, you hear music. It's like
you're not listening to the show.
You're like you call the doctor's office for results, and bing, music comes on.
It's like elevator music.
And so I think people get confused by that as well. Well, listen, when we get our normal system, we can get a better idea of what's going on with folks not calling. But it defeats a day like General Knowledge Wednesday. And again, if we're not going to get people to participate, then what's the point of doing it?
Now, and I don't know if this is true or not, but MBD, loyal chatter, he said that a few people have said they've tried to call and they're having issues getting through. Now, I don't know if there's truth
that
in
could
that.
be.
I believe there's a limited number of lines, so that might be part of the reason as well.
Well, I think we could do up to 5. So I don't think we have
could
5.
do up to 5. That would that wouldn't deter anything. So again, here's the prize. It's a $100 gift certificate in the Brasa Steakhouse, plus 5 spots in the knockout tournament. So this is an easy way for you to get in the knockout tournament if you're excited to do that. But also, if you're not, $100 the Brasa Steakhouse gift certificate is nothing to sneeze at, Bill.
No, it's not.
You get a lot of meat for that.
You're going to get as much meat as you want.
That's correct.
It's all you can meat.
All right, let's go to the text board, and we do. Let's go back to the telephone lines. But first, the text. Sean, what are people saying?
All right. First up, Matt from Ontario saying, I'm not just satisfied winning the Super Bowl. With all that's happened the last few days, winning the Super Bowl is already far in the rear view. I want more, not just content with being one and done.
Okay. You may say that, but also I don't think that the zeal to get one right away again is there. You know, this really kind of softens people up. When you win, and I noticed this in 2017 too. All of a sudden, people were happy. They weren't stressed about winning anymore. They had conquered the mountain finally, and people got, yeah, it's good. And whatever happens now is gravy.
Yeah, it certainly. I mean, human nature. You got there, but I don't want them to get complacent, and I don't want the fans to be complacent either. I think that we should keep asking for more, but understand that it is almost impossible to repeat. Like, almost impossible. When you look at the teams who have done it, in the last 20 years, you had one team. It was the Kansas City Chiefs, and they have Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback, who may go down as one of the greatest. And then the last time before that, you go back to the 03-04 Patriots, who had Tom Brady. And then before that, you got to go to the 97-98 Broncos, who had John Elway. And before that, there was no salary cap. So it's hard to even compare the Cowboys and the Niners and the Steelers of the 70s or the Dolphins or the Packers from the 60s. So really, you've gotten 3 teams that have done it with salary cap, and all 3 of them had Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But maybe the Eagles have a Hall of Fame quarterback, Mike.
Maybe. Possible. We do have a phone call. Yes, we do. Let's go to... who is it? Who we have? Dan and Belmar?
Dom.
Dom and Belmar. Dom, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, bud?
Michael.
What's
Bill,
up, Dom?
How are you?
Big Dom. What's going on, my brother?
How you doing, Billy? I wanted to call in. Well, one, let me help you out on why I think people are not calling.
Go ahead.
Because when I was calling, I was getting the busy response for a good 10 minutes. And I think maybe that's deterring some people from calling in because there's only so much of that you can take.
Yeah, I hear you. But
Yeah,
now
but
we
that-
don't
I
have.
mean,
I don't think
but,
we
you
have
know,
that
you
now,
take it.
right?
No, you got it now.
We still have it now. Huh. All right. Then it must
well, at least
be.
when I
It
was
must
calling.
be still the glitches in the system.
Yeah, but I wanted to call to put a little positivity into the Eagles nation because I think the problem is everybody knows when you have a Super Bowl run, you get gutted the next year. It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
It happens.
Right.
But I think everybody's having a little bit of PTSD because of how we collapsed
Get up,
the year after. And for me, I don't think this is going to be anything like that year because after 2022, we lost Jonathan Gadden, we lost a lot of our key players, and we got a new defensive coordinator in Sean Desai that, frankly, was in over his head. And I think the collapse happened because for that particular reason. He didn't have the experience and he didn't have the leadership skills to get us out of that funk when we started to collapse. Vic Fangio won't let that happen. He's an experienced D coordinator. We're not losing him. Yes, we're getting gutted, but we still have a lot of our young core there. He's not going to let it happen. The PTSD doesn't have to happen next year the way it did in 2023. So for me, I'm not that worried.
All right. I mean, Tom, you laid it out perfectly. This is what we want to have the conversation with people on how exactly you feel. You're not that worried because you have faith in these guys who are experts.
Dom, let me ask you, though. Let's go back to the 2023 season. let's say they would have gotten Jonathan Gannon doesn't pull the bait and switch, so Vic Fangio doesn't leave, and he gets hired as the defensive coordinator for that 2023 season, but he would have been given the same personnel that Sean Desai and Matt Patricia were given. Do you think they have as good of a defense as they had this past year?
No, obviously there's things that had to go right and wrong to have the same defense. I mean, the reason why we have the defense we have now is because we were so bad in 2023. So that probably wouldn't have happened. But I don't think if we had Jonathan Gannon, now this isn't to say that I think Jonathan Gannon is the be-all, end-all of defensive coordinators. I just don't think if we would have collapsed the way we did in 2023, the way we did under Sean Desai. And I think the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs repeated, which is extremely hard to do, is because they had that continuity in their defense and their defensive coordinator not leaving. Makes it a lot easier for you to repeat when you get gutted the way they got.
Very good point. All right, man. It is time now for your general knowledge question. Musical acts by the letter C. We're going to play you this song, and you have to tell me who it is. All right? You ready, Sean? Hit it.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Coldplay.
Oh,
well done.
Yes. And what's the name of the song?
Something about the stars.
No. It's a color. It's a color.
We're going to give it. All right, we're going to give it to you. It's Yellow by Coldplay. All right. So
good job,
you go.
Dom. Good job,
Dom
Dom.
gets Coldplay. Bang. Not
job,
bad.
Dom.
All right, so we are tied.
No. The caller's got a
2-1.
2-1 lead.
2-1, the caller's lead.
And also, we're going to have to look into this during the break. Eric Bentz on Twitter has said he's been trying to call in for 15 minutes at least, and the phones have been busy.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there's something going on, but just keep trying, everybody.
I apologize if people are trying to call and just can't get in. I thought this was settled. Apparently it's not. So I'll give you the numbers anyway. 610-632-0975, because the next question is Phillies trivia.
So is it my question, or we're waiting for the call?
Yeah, we'll wait for the caller. It's the Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles to trade for CJ Gardner Johnson to Houston. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is brought to you by Delilah's. Don't miss any of the action on the ice and certainly any of the after party. Show your ticket at Delilah's for complimentary admission after every home game. Delilah's Gentlemen's Clubs, always on top. CJ Gardner Johnson is reportedly being traded to the Houston Texans for guard Kenyon Green. The Eagles will receive a 2025 fifth-round pick, and Texans get a 2025 sixth-round pick. The Eagles have not agreed to a deal with any player yet in free agency that is from an outside team. ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas earlier, and he says that he expects the Eagles to see a few players go before a few more come in. The Flyers fell to the Senators last night, losing its fifth game in a row. Sixers are back in action tonight as the team hosts the Raptors. You can listen to that game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is also brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas, and Connor Thomas. They have a lot to say.
I'm the Fanatic. I just, Bill, I was just enjoying a mini Baby Ruth bar. Is it the Baby Ruth candy bar there?
Is that named after Babe Ruth?
Well, this is interesting because the perception is that it is. However, it is not. The reality is the Baby Ruth bar was named after the baby daughter of, I believe, President Grover Cleveland. Baby Ruth.
Interesting. I'm reading this now.
Now, most people think it's Babe Ruth. Therefore, years later, Reggie Jackson had the same perception when he said, if I played in New York, they'd name a candy bar after me, which they did. The Reggie Bar. And I used to love the Reggie Bar. The Reggie Bar was solid, Bill.
I don't remember the Reggie Bar.
You got to Google the Reggie Bar and tell them what's in it. I believe it was peanuts and raisins and chocolate, and it was really solid.
The Reggie Bar. The core was made of peanuts and caramel, and it was covered in milk chocolate.
Okay, so it was just peanuts and caramel.
That's it. Yeah, a milk chocolate covered caramel and peanut candy bar.
Solid candy.
Named after Reggie Jackson.
Because he said they named a candy bar because the perception was Baby Ruth already had a candy bar, which she did not. It was Baby Ruth, Grover Cleveland's daughter, Ruth.
Now, if there was a Mikey Miss bar, what would be the main ingredient? Brajol?
Brajol tasting candy. That would have
A
been
chocolate covered Brajol.
That would have been awesome.
It's the Mikey Miss.
Yeah, it would have been Brajol. Our people don't even know what Brajol is. Brajol takes a lot of work. Brajol was simmered in the Sunday sauce, Sunday gravy.
Did you used to tie it up with string?
Absolutely.
Yeah, my grandma did the same thing. You have to cut the string to eat it.
It's a round steak, pounded really thin, filled with cheeses, Parmesan, a little parsley, maybe some chopped garlic, and depending on, you could put pine nuts in it.
She never did the pine nuts. But I would never go for the Brajol. I would always do the meatball or the sausage.
Well, two very good choices. However, the Brajol, when stewed for the 3-4 hours of a Sunday gravy, comes up like butter.
I'm sure it adds to the flavor of the gravy itself,
Absolutely
too.
It does. You got the beef, you got the pork, you got the veal. Oh, you got to have the pork. That's the flavor. That's what they said in Goodfellas in prison.
When you were a kid, how many days a week did your family eat gravy?
Once.
Just on Sundays?
Yep.
Yeah, so we would do it on Sundays, but then again on Wednesday night at my other grandmom's.
Oh,
so it'd be like Sunday at my mom's and then Wednesday night.
You had a two grandmom situation.
Yeah, so Wednesday night as well. Mm-hmm. But then, here's the nice part when you have, my mother-in-law's Italian too. She dropped off on Sunday night gravy with meatballs and sausage that we put in the refrigerator that we'll probably make at some point this week.
There you go. You're all well stocked. By the way, how do you feel about the Junior Mint?
Not a fan.
Really?
I don't like to me, that's not a candy. That'd be
refreshing.
When you're walking out of a restaurant and you grab the little chocolates.
They're very refreshing.
Refreshing, but you can only eat a couple of them.
You're right.
That's our digital coordinator, Dylan McKinnon's favorite candy bar.
Is that the Junior Mint?
Interesting. That's an interesting favorite.
How about the York Peppermint Patty?
Same. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I like it.
It is a refreshing chocolate.
Very refreshing treat.
See, I look at it, my favorite chocolate is, what can I have with a nice bag of popcorn at the movies? And that's why I like Goobers.
Raisinets go perfectly with the salty popcorn.
Peanut M&Ms. It's all about the salty sweet.
You can't go peanut
chocolate
with the popcorn.
Covered pretzels.
You can't go peanut popcorn. You got to balance it.
See, I'm a chocolate covered pretzel guy. Love chocolate
with popcorn?
Oh yeah, anything like that.
Salt and salt. Come on, you got to get balanced. You got to get sweet and sour.
It is a lot of salt.
Come on, man. 610-632-0975. Let's go back to the chat board. What we got here, Sean? I mean, the text board.
Text board? Okay. So one person checking says, I just don't get the CJ GJ trade. I didn't save that much. It didn't save that much money on the cap, and we got an O-line who is terrible.
Well, the O-line guy is a first-round pick, so he's got a pedigree. You put a pedigree with the best offensive line coach, what do you got?
Mekhi Becton, hopefully.
You might have an all-pro.
But, I mean, what you're hoping is the same thing with Mekhi Becton, where it was more of a reclamation project. Mm-hmm. He was drafted high in New York. He comes here. He gets into Stoutland U.
Yeah.
And now he can play.
See, that's worth a shot if you don't like CJ GJ. If you have an ambivalence about that guy, it's certainly worth a shot to get a reclamation project who was once a premier prospect. And it all comes down to how they felt about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And my feeling is they didn't think that much of him. When you think that much of somebody, you don't get rid of him.
They had to, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's no way Fangio would have wanted to keep CJ, and Howie Roseman says no. So this had to have been signed off on. It's just that yesterday it appeared they did this because they're ready to turn the keys over to a Sidney Brown or maybe even a Tristan McCullum. And there's the other guy on the roster from Georgia that everybody was excited about that's only played like 2 games. What's his name again? Klein. What's the guy?
Klein is the last name.
Yeah, Klein, who played at Georgia, I believe, who's only had like 2 career games. But now their actions suggest otherwise because they're in on the Justin Reeds. And maybe you still can. Maybe you get a guy like a Justin Simmons. I think Blackman, who played for the Colts last year, is also available. He may be a younger option. So if they do that and you get another edge rusher and you bring in a veteran defensive tackle, all right, and Fangio signs off on all of them, maybe we're okay. But until it happens, I'm a little concerned.
I got a Jones for a junior minute. My kingdom for a junior minute right now. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
97.5 The Fanatics Knockout Tournament is back Wednesday, March 26th.
7:40. Mike Missanelli Show. Talking about a lot of Eagle issues today, but I want to bring up a Flyer issue as long as we're here. Bill, I need your feedback on this.
Oh, boy.
I need feedback from Flyer fans as well. This John Tortorella situation. A very well-respected hockey great has been ripping him lately, and his name is Chris Pronger.
A little bit, yeah.
Chris Pronger is not a Tortorella fan. Now, I don't know if he ever crossed paths with Tortorella. Did Tortorella ever coach him?
It's interesting. I mean, with the amount of years Pronger was in the league, and let me look. I'm going to try to look that up.
There's a lot of players that think a coach should be a certain way, and he shouldn't be as heavy-handed as this guy, especially in today's day and age.
I don't believe he ever crossed paths with Torts.
Okay, so Tortorella's latest thing is to do what? Who's he benching?
Well, there's a couple of things. So we know he benched Matvei Michkov on Sunday, and then he also benched defenseman Cam York. Now, what made the Cam York benching noteworthy was Cam York came out to the media and essentially said that he didn't know why he was being scratched. And this is a quote from Cam York. If there was communication, then maybe I would understand.
So this guy, here's what Tortorella does. He not going to communicate. It's his way or the highway. So he does what he wants. Now, that's what makes him lose a lot of his teams, because they bail on a guy like that.
Well, and that's where Pronger has his issues, because he comments underneath an article talking about this and saying he did the same thing last year with Sean Couturier. What is the reasoning? If the player is not playing up to par, then explain exactly what he needs to fix to be more effective. Stop using he needs to be better. That is a cop-out. Now, that's coming from Pronger, who also went on a podcast. He went on the Nasty Knuckles podcast with Derek Settlemeyer and Riley Cote recently, who questioned whether or not free agents may be reluctant to come here because of John Tortorella. So this isn't like fans. This isn't just sports talk radio. I mean, this is a guy, Chris Pronger, who was a captain in this league for a long time, questioning these moves that Tortorella is making. It makes you take a step back and think, is this the right guy for this rebuild?
Okay, now here's my second question to that end. How come the media that covers the Flyers has not gone down that avenue to report?
I know where you're probably going with it. I think a lot of the media may have, drank the Flyers Kool-Aid, right, with regard to what they put out there. But I also think that if people I've spoken to who are connected with the Flyers, I am not, but people who I've spoken to who are connected with the Flyers constantly hear that Tortorella's not going anywhere. Tortorella is going to be this coach for as long as he wants to be the coach. And there was even an article today about how he may move into a management role with this Flyers organization when he doesn't want to coach anymore. So media may be reluctant to question a guy they know is not going anywhere.
Well, and wait.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
You got to be kidding me. The media's job is to anticipate whether he's going to be here in the future and whether you're going to have a relationship with him. Why don't they press up against the guy? It doesn't mean you can't press up against the guy if there are issues. Chris Pronger is opening a door for issues here. Right?
He is.
That is a story. Why are Flyer media personnel so soft when it comes to this organization?
Well, I think it's also because, to give the media a little bit of a break here, when you question, you get an answer like he gave about the Michkov.
Well, you press harder. Then you press harder.
He's not giving anything.
If you are a journalist, you find a way to ask the question. If you have to get into a back and forth with the guy, then you do that. You are serving your master. The people that are trying to get information from you as the conduit from the team to the public. It galls the crap out of me when you don't press up against the coach and he's allowed to say, well, because I did it. I can't stand that.
Well, if you remember, this is going back to last season, I believe. I think San Filippo Anthony San Filippo.
Yeah, he got into a little tussle.
Right? And then it got to the point
But he
where
reported something that was like, that was when he reported about.
was it about Gauthier and Kevin Hayes? I think it was about Kevin Hayes.
The Kevin Hayes.
But then what do you get from Tortorella? You get I'm not talking to you. I'm not answering your questions. So I get what you're saying, and you're right. Media should push, but he's not going to respond kindly.
If he doesn't want to answer a question, somebody else has to ask the question in a different form. And you have to make him exposed. He needs to be exposed to his fan base for questions. They're the ones that should get answers. He doesn't coach this team in a vacuum. This fan base has been a very loyal fan base, and they've been conditioned to be soft. And no other team faces that kind of softness in this city. Not one other team. Look at the Sixers. They're getting hammered this year. And they're getting hammered by the press as well. Flyers,
Well, look, you and I have talked about this before. They are in a rebuild. And I know it's felt like they've been in a rebuild for a really long time. But a lot of that was because of what Ron Hextall and, more importantly, Chuck Fletcher did. Mike, I'm telling you, it's the reality.
Stop. It's not the reality. You've had enough time to get the young players and coach them to more wins.
I agree with you on the Morgan Frosts and the Joel Farabee. He never really developed these guys. He didn't like them. They were in his doghouse for whatever reason, and they're out the door. But you need to bring in more talent.
Cam York as well. Has he blossomed?
He's had moments. I mean, look, Jamie Drysdale has looked good the last couple of weeks.
You are a typical example of a soft.
No, I think
are soft on them.
I think there could be somewhere in the middle. I don't love all of the things that John Tortorella does. I don't love the communication with players or lack thereof when it comes to Couturier and Cam York and now benching Matvei Michkov. I don't love it. But at the same time, I don't have crazy expectations that a team that has been devoid of talent under Chuck Fletcher and Ron Hextall, we're going to be competitive.
Bill, let me ask you a question. If you weren't a fan of this franchise, if you weren't a Flyer Dave O'Tay your whole life, if you didn't own tickets to see this, would you be having the same opinion? I want you to divorce yourself from you being personally invested as a fan in this team and look at it objectively and tell me what you would be thinking.
Well, I don't know what you mean by it, because is it acceptable that this team has not been competitive, which feels like the last decade? No, it's not acceptable. But I also don't put all of that on the current people who are calling the shots.
You know why you don't do that? Because they're your favorites.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
It has everything.
Briere's been there for 2 years.
Subconsciously, you love Jonesy and Danny.
But what could they have done in 2 seasons when you didn't have talent? You didn't have a lot of talent to make trades and bring in acquisitions.
No, is this a great league?
What do you mean?
The NHL. Is this a great league talent-wise?
Yeah, there's a ton of talent in the NHL.
Do you think that you could be good enough to get into the playoffs? You think that they
were close last year?
Enough players to get into playoffs? And that makes my point. They were close last year. They're the same mediocrity this year. They've made no progress.
But they've been very open that they're not looking short term.
Unbelievable. You are just unbelievable.
I'm giving Briere and Jones a pass.
Fans are a different breed. I'm telling you right now. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles to trade CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. CJ Gardner Johnson is reportedly being traded to the Houston Texans for guard Kenyon Green. Green, coming from the Texans, was a former first-round pick. The Eagles will receive a 2025 fifth, and the Texans will get a 2025 sixth. The Eagles have not agreed to a deal with any player from another team in free agency quite yet. ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas, and he believes the Birds could see a few more players leave the team.
I think they're more likely to shed more salary than acquire more salary. That's how I feel right now. Again, I think they're more likely to shed more salaries, make more moves the other way, than more outgoing than incoming.
The Flyers fell to the Senators last night, losing its 5th game in a row, and the Sixers are back in action tonight as the team heads to Toronto to play the Toronto Raptors. Maxey, George, Lowry remain out. Oubre and Drummond are both questionable. You can listen to the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
710-622-0975 on the text board or on the telephones. And unless we get a lot of calls, General Knowledge Wednesday is not going to turn out like we thought. We're going to get 6 winners. We're given 5 spots in the knockout tournament, and 1 is getting a $100 gift certificate from the Brasa Steakhouse. And I know we've had phone problems, and I really apologize for that. Believe me, I would love for things to go smoothly. We go back to the old ways, and people are just calling us, and they're telling us they're trying to call in, and they're getting busy signals or whatever. So we apologize for that. Sixers play the Raptors tonight in a must-lose situation for both teams. I love it. This is exciting stuff, Bill. A must-lose situation for both teams. The Raptors and the Sixers dead tied right now. Actually, the Raptors are trailing by a half a game. Sixers 22-42. The Raptors 22-43. But the Raptors have been playing really good ball lately, and they're home tonight, and they're favored -3.5. Can the Sixers pull off a loss tonight, Bill?
I think they probably could. No Maxey, right? No
it's
George.
Like bizarro world. Can the Sixers pull off a loss?
I'm trying to look to see where they are. So are we? The Sixers are tied. All right, they're a half game back.
That's what I just said.
Of the Nets, you said, right?
No, I said they're half game. The Raptors.
Yeah, they're a half game back of the Nets too.
And the
Raptors. Both the Raptors and the Nets are 22-43.
Yeah, and both of the Raptors and Nets are playing better basketball and are more representative right now than the Sixers are.
And I said that the wrong way. They're not a half game back. They're a half game ahead. They're a half game ahead. But we want it to be half game back because we're looking at the bottom of the standings.
We want another loss.
Correct.
We want another loss in the loss column. So the Raptors can go to 23 wins tonight, and then the Sixers would have 43 losses.
And they could slide all the way to 5th worst record.
Right. I need to have the security blanket.
Are you putting any shekels on this game?
No, I can't. When you bet 2 stink teams, you come out with a stink result. So, no, I'm not betting. However, Mikey missed last night with maybe the bet of the year.
Yeah, you really go deep.
Who would have the Collunes to bet Robert Morris last night outright?
Would you read the line?
Robert Morris is a squad this year, baby.
Now we're talking about college basketball. Our own Ray Dunn, major disappointment last night. The Temple women's team was favored over Rice.
Yes.
And they get crushed.
They do. Do we have Ray? Do we have the Ray?
Not yet. I haven't been able to find it yet.
Oh, we're trying to get Ray and how he described the disappointment of Temple women being eliminated from the league tournament. They got beat by Rice. The Owls beat the Owls.
Yeah, that was, and they were favored. I think they were favored by like 6.5.
Whoa, wow, bad loss for TU.
It was a bad loss, but hey, their loss is our gain because it means Ray Dunn is back tomorrow. If they would have won, Ray would not have been here tomorrow.
That's okay. It's Bill versus the audience today. And the next category is Phillies trivia.
I know. This may be tough.
However, it is noontime. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. You listen to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1. Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. We broadcast from the Comcast Business Studios, empowering possibilities. Noontime, which means it is time for the news at noon with Sean Rodman.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, I wanted to take us to the golf world to start us off because Tiger Woods ended up tearing his Achilles. And I know Bill has had this debate, and I believe it was with you. I don't remember who it was with, but I remember Bill thought that he could beat Tiger Woods at his prime in at least one hole.
One hole over, how many was it? 72.
Correct.
Over 72 holes. You got to win one hole. I still stand by that, especially now with his torn Achilles. I think I could do it.
That's where my question's going. Can you beat him now? According to Stephen A. Smith and where he is in his game, he might be able to.
I mean, no disrespect. To me, Tiger Woods is a recreational golfer at this point.
Oh my God.
A recreational golfer.
What? Who's he going to go after next? Wayne Gretzky? First he takes on LeBron, now Tiger?
Well, let's examine whether he's wrong. Is he a recreational golfer? Well, no, we're recreational golfers.
No,
he's a professional golfer who can still score. He's not going to win anything anymore, but he can still score.
Yeah, I mean, see, to me, that's Stephen A. Smith lacking an understanding of how good these professional golfers are.
Yeah.
Because what Tiger Woods was doing on these professional golf courses, where the tee boxes are way back, where the pin placements are insanely difficult, Tiger Woods would mop up at these local courses. Like, he would dominate these local courses, even probably with a torn Achilles. Come on, Stephen A.
Well, I never heard of a torn Achilles. It just gets a minor operation. And they're saying, well, his appearance at the Masters is in jeopardy. What? Achilles tendon takes like a year to heal with surgery. So I don't know what the extent of the Achilles injury was.
Yeah, but did he say this before the Achilles, or he said this after?
After. This was this morning.
I think he's trying to make the point that he's no longer viable. And he's no longer viable. And this nonsense, like people getting excited that he's going to be in a tournament. I go, what are you excited about? He has no chance to win anymore.
No, he doesn't.
So what? This Tiger hype gets me crazy. It's like, all right, you don't want to retire. That's fine. You want to keep playing. But this ruse that he's going to come back and make a run at something is ridiculous. It's over for him as far as winning.
It is sad that it's over, though.
That's because if sad guys get older,
I know, but
if to a certain age, you can't play against these young pups.
But if the injuries didn't take its toll on this guy, he probably would have set every record.
He didn't win enough.
He won a lot.
He didn't set any records. Come on, man. You make it sound like, oh my God, his career was cut short. Like, come on.
He probably would have caught Nicklaus, though.
Maybe,
for the most majors.
Who knows? Tough to win a major against the fields today. These guys coming up are so freaking good. They're so much better than the fields that Nicklaus used to play against.
That's true.
Really, I mean, any one of these guys can win on any given Sunday. The guys that could win Nicklaus were like 5 guys.
And you know why I think there's so many more competitive golfers?
Money.
Because of Tiger.
All right. Well,
because Tiger increased all of the purses and everything else. Tiger, the reason he may not have won more is because he changed the game.
Golf club.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, Tiger, for your service.
They now approach
what's next?
The green.
What's next, Sean?
All right, next up, we were talking about it pretty much all day today. CJ Gardner Johnson getting traded. He went on Twitch, and this was the reason he was given from the Eagles of why he was traded.
I ain't lying to you. I thought they were fools. I ain't lying. I saw 3-1. I'm like, they were fools. They damn sure got me. They playing crazy with me right now. But no, it wasn't no love loss. It wasn't no bad blood. It was a great phone call. Great phone call. It was an amazing phone call to be all the way thorough. Situation is, them young guys got to get paid in Philly. Jalen Carter, Reed, Zach, all them guys got to get their money. They deserve it. You know, me getting older, so I got to understand, like, it was no bad blood.
So what is he saying? He understands it or he doesn't understand it?
He's saying he understood. He thought it was an April Fool's joke is what I think he said.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is he mentions Jalen Carter, which is true, but Carter doesn't have to get paid and can't be paid. See, the way the NFL CBA works, Carter cannot get a new contract until his 3rd full season is over. So they have to wait until next offseason anyway to pay Jalen Carter. But then he mentions Reed. So I guess be on the lookout for a Reed Blankenship extension coming up. And he mentioned Zach Bond. So he's saying it's money related. I still, Mike, I can't believe it was just money related.
No, I don't think it was just money related. I really think that they thought that he was going to explode eventually, and they want to take a chance. That's what I think happened. They want to have a team that's respectful and respected, and sometimes he goes off half-cocked.
Which I think you need sometimes, because this defense did lose.
You don't need penalties to get thrown out of a game, though.
Which he did against Washington. Yeah. We'll see. Was that it? That was 2 sounds, wasn't it?
That was 2, yes.
You don't have a third?
I do. The music.
I thought
I thought he was wrapping it up.
I thought you were wrapping it up. All right, you have a third one, Sean? Go ahead.
I do.
Right,
the third one is actually a potential replacement for one, CJ Gardner Johnson. And yesterday, Justin Simmons joined a podcast talking ball with, and this is what one of his top destinations could be Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things about Philly. Obviously, I think their offense is clearly one of the most talented in the league. That offensive line is unbelievable. But what the defense did this past season to go win that Super Bowl is is crazy. Like watching those guys operate, you could tell the leadership there, top down, is by far one of the best in the league. So to have an opportunity to go play in Philly, especially reuniting with Vic and CP, like we just talked about, it's high on the list.
All righty. What do you think?
Well, again,
Justin
Simmons was talked a lot about last year. Now, he's older. He's 31.
Mm-hmm.
When is he going to be 32? So he won't be 32 until after the season. Does have the history with Vic Fangio. Now, did you hear him also say get reunited with CP? He's talking about the secondary coach, Christian Parker. So it would make a lot of sense from that perspective. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, one of the things we loved about him was he was a ball hawk. Justin Simmons has 32 career interceptions. So this is a guy that can get after the ball as well and had some of his best seasons under Vic Fangio. It just depends on, do you want to get older? You're going to sign a guy who's 31 years old. I thought, according to what we were told, they want to get younger. So may not make sense from that perspective. I would sign. I think you need some veterans on this defense now.
All right, we'll see. Howie said it's a long haul. Just don't judge us by the immediacy of free agency period. Free agency goes on for a long period of time, and we would like you fans to be patient. And when Howie speaks, Howie has the clout to produce a gap year, much less patient year.
The Book of Howie.
610-632-0975. Phillies trivia is up next on our general knowledge. It's the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
We want to hear from you, so text us at 610-632-0975.
On 97.5, The Fanatic. Let me make a statement what I think this when it comes to the flyer thing. I'll tell a quick story. So when I my first job out of college was at a newspaper called Montgomery Newspapers, which they had 2 daily newspapers at the time. They were producing a daily called Today's Post, and they were producing a daily called Today's Spirit. They covered the Philadelphia pro scene. They asked the reporters, what beat would you prefer if you were covering a professional beat? I was a Flyer fan back then. Big time.
Yeah.
I said, I would like to cover the Flyers, even though I probably like the Sixers a little better, football a little better, Phillies a little better. I said, I'll cover the Flyers beat. I covered it because I was a fan. Now, as I got more into my journalistic career, I became less of a fan. But I was writing primarily positive stories back then because I was a fan. Now, it didn't help that they did go on a 35-game unbeaten streak when I was covering them. 35-game unbeaten streak the Flyers had when I was covering them in 1980.
Yeah.
I think it was. Pat Quinn was the coach. So I dealt with 2 coaches the first few years, Bob McCammon and then Pat Quinn. Both of them were very honest, gentlemanly people that you could have conversations with and ask pertinent questions to. Now, my whole thing about when you cover the Flyers, even today, the people that cover the Flyers started out as fans of the Flyers. And so they are conditioned to be fans and not cover them harshly when it even deserves to be covered harshly.
Yeah, I would agree with you that, or you may also get the younger, just breaking into the business type thing, right? Because you got, out of the 4 major sports, the NHL's the least followed, at least here.
Right.
Now, if you're in Toronto and you get that job, it's like covering the Yankees if you're covering the Maple Leafs.
Yes.
But not in this city.
Right.
But I do think, I know what you're saying, that a lot of them are fans, quote unquote. But again, I go back to the, San Filippo. He tried to challenge Tortorella. You get shut down.
He did. Well, but you can't let yourself get shut down. That's the point. There's always a way to keep coming at somebody to get the real answers. And people get defeated. If you're a fan and you're conditioned to be softer in general, you don't get to the crux of what you need to get to. This is what I'm saying. So I'm going to tell you something. This is what I would do. If I ran any media entity and I had somebody who's going to cover the Flyers, I go, were you ever a fan of the Flyers? Yes.
Disqualified.
You're out. You're out. I need somebody to cover the team that's not a fan of the Flyers.
Yeah, but
if I have to go out of town for that, I'll go out of town.
But couldn't you say the same, though? I mean, just look at the Eagles and all the beat reporters, and there's a lot of good ones. It's not as if they're really pushing Sirianni or Roseman in these pressers either. I mean, if they get told something's off limits or they shut something down, I know what you're saying, but it's hard to keep pushing if you get completely shut down. I'm not going to answer that question.
Well, then you follow up, or somebody follows up for you. Well, don't you think you have a responsibility to answer that question? There are a lot of fans out there would like to know what you're doing with your team, and basically, this team belongs to the fans. Don't you agree? And then you get a dialogue. And if he snaps back at you, you get a dialogue. And you go, well, I stand by my question. Don't you think that we should know about these things since you are catering to a fan base? And you're not afraid to have a dialogue, which may occasionally be a semi-confrontation.
Yeah. And now I know what you're saying, but I also think that there's a part of it where these reporters are a little afraid to get locked out of things. Because then you may do that. You may get the story, but now guess what? You're not getting anything else from us. I mean, they have to look towards the future.
With the way this organization is trying to be run with transparency and honesty, do you think that would be good?
Talk about the Flyers.
I'm talking about the honchos, the Keith Jones and the Danny Briers of the world. You think that would be good for them? They're trying to get interest regenerated in the Flyers. This is why you put them on notice for stuff like this.
So I don't think that they've spoken about how Tortorella handled it on Sunday when he was asked about benching Michkov. I mean, that's not being very open or transparent.
Yeah. So what happens when and Haley just came in because Haley covers the Flyers for us, and she comes in and tells a story about how they filed a grievance against Tortorella for not. You're supposed to meet with the press before the game and after the game, right? And he sometimes doesn't meet with them at all. So they told the general manager about it. The general manager then goes to Tortorella and says, "Oh, John, you got to do this kind of thing." And then Tortorella comes back at the who snitched on me, and got even nastier.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking too. I just did a quick Twitter search of John Tortorella to see the recent stuff. This is the type of answers you get. So this guy Kevin Kurz, who covers the NHL, he puts out last night. I asked John Tortorella this morning why anyone should have faith in this coaching staff to get the power play fixed now that it's in its third straight year of being in the basement. Tortorella's response: "It's not for me to explain it, to try and gain faith from people." This is the type of answers you get.
And why? So now here's my question: why do you think it's not your duty to explain it? And then you go on, and if he doesn't answer it again, you keep going at him. That's the way you find answers.
Now, to Tortorella's credit, he does say, the only people we're concerned about are the people on the ice, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, you have a perfect right to ask the questions about the power play because it stinks. But we continue to try and work at it. To worry about people losing faith with this coaching staff, that's a question for my boss. So that's what Tort says. Because the power play is terrible.
Listen, this all comes down to how the fan base feels about it. If you don't feel a certain way, then nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. And you're going to have the same mediocrity. You're going to have the same coach thinking he's doing right, and the rest of the world are assholes. That's the way it's going to work. Sorry for my French.
Yeah, what'd you just say?
Excuse my French. No, it's all right.
Is that acceptable? Did you say ice hole?
Yeah, I said ice hole.
Name the movie.
I don't know. I'm too perturbed to name a movie right now.
Johnny Dangerously.
Oh, I love that movie.
Remember, he kept calling them ice holes.
Yes. That guy had the accent.
Yes.
Johnny Dangerously was a silly-ass movie.
But it was good.
Funny.
I loved it as a kid,
It was very funny. Michael Keaton. One of his early movies.
Yeah, the mom doesn't know he's a gangster. Great movie.
Yeah. What great movie.
There it is.
Movie.
Great movie.
All right, we have Nick and Briarcliff on the line. Nick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Nick.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, Nick.
God bless you guys and your team for dealing with this technical difficulty. I tell you, Mike, serenity now.
Yeah, I know. It really gets annoying. I thought we were over the hump, right? We were told you can stack some calls now, blah, blah, blah. And apparently we can't even do that. So.
Yeah, and calling in isn't an easy task. I call in often, and this is probably one of the most difficult times calling in.
Yeah, and we really apologize for that. We want to make it easy for people to talk to us.
That's all good. I was calling in about the Eagles. A real quick point about the Flyers whole thing. I like Tortorella, but it never really made sense to me, nor does it make sense to me now that he's the coach of a rebuild team. For two reasons, shaping the young players. I'm sure he has some positives, but I'm sure some negatives go with it, like the unexplained benches and the free agents. That's going to kind of be tough getting free agents when he's sort of got a reputation around the league as it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing is if you want to bring in talent, how do you do it if guys don't want to play for them? Now, they got a lot of draft picks. Maybe they can acquire people through trade. But, yeah, it's something to keep looking out for because they got all this draft capital. If they want to start bringing in talent, do people get deterred because of John Tortorella? That's going to be a problem.
And I think Briere, he just completed, year 2, so I think they're going in the right direction. I think they could be a playoff team next year, but I think it's going to come a time when they're going to keep on progressing, and Tortorella is not going to be in the mix.
Yeah, you might be right about that. But see, they apparently love this guy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they'll put him up in the front office in some way.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. All right, brother. Would you like a general knowledge question? This is Phillies trivia.
I sure would.
All right, here we go. There have been 9 first basemen in Phillies history that have made the All-Star team. Give me 4 of them.
4 of them. Go Ryan Howard.
Correct.
Go. Harper, I'm thinking might have been a DH and not a first baseman, so I'm not going to say him.
No, he made it as a first baseman. I'll give you 2. Give you that one. 2.
Okay. Why am I drawing a blank at first base?
I don't know, but it's an all-timer you're missing. You're missing two guys that are in the Hall of Fame.
Two guys in the Hall of Fame for the Phillies?
Yeah.
Oh, Pete Rose? Well, no, Pete Rose is
not Pete Rose at first base.
Not Pete Rose. Mike Schmidt?
No, not
He
Mike
was third
Schmidt
base,
at first
they play low first base.
Oh, sorry, brother. You're out. Bang.
you didn't get it.
Out of there. Dick Allen, John
Crocker,
Bryce Harper, or you could have gone Jim Thome.
Thome.
All right, Bill. There have been 5 left fielders to make the All-Star team in Philly history. Give me 2 of them.
2 left fielders who have made an All-Star team in Philadelphia history.
One was a left-handed hitter. One was a right-handed power hitter.
Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank here. Did Pete and Cavilla make an All-Star game?
Incorrect, Bill.
That was a joke.
No, it wasn't. You were taking a shot.
No, Inky wasn't an All-Star. Hold on, let me think. Now you're losing. Milt Thompson.
Incorrect.
I
Good
got
guess. However.
I'm drawing a blank.
Greg Luzinski.
Oh.
And Raul Ibanez.
That's right. Ibanez made an All-Star team. That's a tough question right
610-632.
there. The bull I should have had, though.
0975.
Wait, what about Pat the Bat?
Pat the Bat didn't make an All-Star team.
No All-Star. All right.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles to trade CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. CJ Gardner Johnson is reportedly being traded to the Houston Texans for guard Kenyon Green, a former first-round pick. The Eagles will receive a 2025 fifth-round pick, and the Texans get a 2025 sixth-round pick. The Eagles have yet to agree to a deal with a player in free agency from another team, and ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas and believes the Birds could see a few more players leave the team.
I think they're more likely to shed more salary than acquire more salary. That's how I feel right now. Again, I think they're more likely to shed more salaries, make more moves the other way than more outgoing than incoming.
The Flyers fell to the Senators last night, losing its 5th game in a row, and the Sixers are back in action tonight as the team is in Toronto against the Raptors. Maxey, George, and Lowry all remain out. Oubre and Drummond are both questionable. You can listen to the game here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This report is also brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, a little bit of Eagles talk here based on what's happening. I'm looking at this NFL.com here. 2025 free agency, team-by-team grades, Bill. What do you think NFL.com gave the Philadelphia Eagles?
So far to date?
Yeah, right now.
I mean, how could you give them a good grade? They haven't signed a single free agent yet.
C-. The Super Bowl champs lose 2 key figures in their championship run. And trading CJ GJ doesn't help either. Philadelphia will still threaten to hoist the Lombardi Trophy in 2025, but they'll need the cushion to cushion the blow of losing those 3 pieces on defense. On a more positive note, however, this is what balances it to a C-, I guess. The team did retain Zach Baun and lock Saquon Barkley in for the long term.
Yeah, the Zach Baun one, we all agreed headed into free agency, that had to be priority number 1. So you got to give Roseman credit for bringing back Baun, because I think there would have been a lot more anger in this town if they would have lost him. So of the 3 big defensive free agents, him, Sweat, and Williams, they kept the guy that was the most important, in my opinion. But I'm having a hard time right now seeing how this defense can be anywhere near as good as it was last year.
All right, so here's the question. I actually have 4 questions here regarding the Eagles. Number 1, have you lowered your expectations for a repeat because of what you just saw? 2, do you think they can still repeat, even though they did have attrition? 3, are you just satisfied with just 1? And are you a little mollified that it doesn't matter, you can win another one next year, that you'll eventually be at the top of the mountain again, you're still going to be a contender? And then 4, the CJ Gardner Johnson situation. A lot of people hate this trade. Are you in or are you not with their decision to do this? 610-632-0975. Let's go to the phones. Nate in the Northeast has been hanging. Nate, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Nate?
Today?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. The weather's beautiful, so I'm outside enjoying it.
Nice.
So, to give you my feel on the CJ GJ, upset might not be the right word. Like, I'm confused that it happened the way that it happened because of what they're saying with the amount of money that it actually freed up. But when I watched this team start out the year the way that they did and then watch the way that they finished, I kind of have nothing but faith in the organization on what they're going to be able to try and pull out. I don't know who or what just yet, but I think that they're going to be able to do what they need to do to stay on top because they realize what it's like to not be on top, and nobody wants to go back down.
Now, is that realistic, what you're saying, or is that blind faith?
We're going to go with blind faith. I'm a Phillies fan. I mean, I supported the Sixers for a long time until I watched the organization do what they do, and it's very hard to still stay. But I'm a Philadelphia fan. I'm only 30, so I'm a young Philadelphia fan.
I get it. Blind faith is sometimes in clash with reality, right? So, like, what do you believe that why do you believe they're still going to stay up at the top? When you believe they're going to sign some people? You're going to believe they have adequate replacements already in the house? Like, what's making you think this?
So, what's making me think that they're going to be able to move forward is, I want to say Vic Fangio because I just enjoy the way that he is as a defensive coordinator, and I think that there's going to be a pick here and there that's going to come throughout free agency. I really do. I mean, I think it's just going to be one of those things that's just going to be unexpected. You might look at it like the Jahan Dotson situation and be like, oh, what is he really going to do for us? But, I'm going back to blind faith. You kind of caught me in the question, but it's blind faith. I have regular life.
That's cool. This is why
who they're going to have on top of it.
Yeah, this is why I asked the 3-part question. Have you lowered your expectations, or do you think they can still contend, or are you just satisfied with 1? I think you think they still can contend, whether that's blind faith or not. That's your opinion, and I respect it. All right,
there's no way you can just be satisfied with 1.
Okay, I hear you. Now, it's general knowledge time for you. We're in the general knowledge category. Again, you're playing for a $100 gift card in Nebraska if you're so selected. You're playing for a spot in our knockout tournament. You got game?
Yeah. I'm going for that Nebraska. I like my steak. I got game in New Jersey.
All right, so if you don't get Nebraska, can you be formidable in the knockout?
Absolutely.
All
I'll
right.
start practicing
I like
my,
it. I like it. I like the confidence. Here's the question. What tire company also makes a famous restaurant guide?
tire company. I mean,
Famous restaurant guide. They're more famous for that, maybe.
Restaurant guide.
A book. They
I mean, I
publish a
wanna say
book every year.
I'm going to say Goodyear.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Michelin, right?
It is Michelin. Bill got it right, but we're not giving you that question, Bill.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to
All right, here is the question for Billy Bob. Let's go with this one. Through what Belgian city do 84% of the world's diamonds pass?
Brussels.
Incorrect, Bill. Antwerp.
That's almost impossible.
That's not impossible. Antwerp is a well-known diamond city.
He gets Michelin and I get Antwerp.
I'll bet you 85% of the population knew Antwerp.
Be honest in the YouTube chat if you knew Antwerp.
Antwerp, Belgium, diamonds.
I would have got Michelin, not Antwerp.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys don't know your diamonds. Can I tell you?
Do you know where French fries were
Cheap ass.
created?
What do you know your opals? You don't know the big stone?
If you would have asked me where were French fries created, I would have known it was Belgium.
French fries were created in Belgium?
Correct.
Sure?
Not France.
Really? Well,
I actually think that might be right.
You better do your Antwerp studying.
While French fries imply a French origin, their history is actually linked to Belgium, with stories suggesting their creation in the late 17th century, where villagers would fry potatoes when rivers froze, and the dish was later popularized by street vendors.
Wait a minute. Why would they fry them when rivers froze? What's that have to do with it?
I guess because they couldn't get imports of goods, maybe, so they would save their potatoes and then fry them up.
And fry them in the spring?
I guess.
It's only when the rivers froze. Time for French fries, everybody.
Yeah, it says, according to local Belgian lore, poor villagers living in the Meuse Valley often ate
the Meuse Valley.
They ate small fried fish that they caught in the river. So I guess when the rivers froze and they couldn't fish, they fried potatoes.
Oh, so they only ate fish until then.
I guess so.
610-632-0975. Joe Nash Wednesday. It's piping along here. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
They must really like Keely Ringo, who's been here for 2 seasons.
Talking about the Eagles.
And maybe they do. And this is
former Mrs. Elon.
Who's that?
Grimes.
Oh.
Or the 76ers' new shooting guard.
Watch, Quentin Grimes is going to go off tonight and ruin this draft.
Yeah?
Well, both teams want to lose. Toronto's got all types of injury reports now, miraculously.
Toronto is missing Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, and Abaji.
Yeah.
Tonight. And they're still a favorite. And they went up to 4. That tells me the Raptors.
I think it's just impossible to predict, man.
Went up. The line's telling you Raptors.
Yeah, it did go up. I'm looking at it again here. It looks like money line went down a little bit. Plus 148, your 76ers. By the way, speaking of the Sixers, I saw SportsCenter put something out today. 25 years ago to the day was when Allen Iverson crossed up MJ.
Oh, really? That was 25 years ago today?
Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
No.
Feels like yesterday when he crossed him up. That was a clean cut, really not a lot of tattooed Allen Iverson.
It was a clean cut Allen. He had the short hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he was a big reason.
Well, he had been reeling from that trouble, so he had to have a clean act coming into the league.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, his whole story.
Have you ever seen that story?
I did. I watched the documentary. It was crazy.
Yeah.
How close his life was from being completely different.
Yeah.
It would have been unfortunate, man.
Yeah, it was nuts. All right. We got a lot of flyer comments. So let's go to the text board. Sean Robbins got our text board today. Ray Dunn will be back tomorrow because his squad lost today. Last night. The Rice beat Temple last night in women's basketball, eliminated from the tournament. However, it looks like the Owls will still get like a postseason situation.
Maybe. I mean, I'm pulling for the Owls, but at the same time,
I'm pulling for Ray to be here.
Yeah, I want my man here. No offense, Sean, but
yeah,
I get it.
No offense. I like going at it with Ray.
Sean, what do you got?
All right. First up, Norm from Mayfair says Torts needs to go. He doesn't even have the right temperament to be a bouncer in Roadhouse.
That's right, because when Bodie came in, he eliminated people that had the right temperament.
Be nice. All right, that was Bodie's.
Who did he? Give me the 3 people he zipped right away.
There was the bartender who was stealing money, right?
Yep. Yeah, that got him into trouble because that was Blake Wesley's nephew.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
The guy who was dealing drugs, or was that the same guy?
The woman was dealing drugs.
The woman was dealing drugs.
She was out.
It's been a while since I saw this movie.
Terry Funk.
I was going to say, was Terry Funk thrown out too?
He got out, and then the guy was having sex in the coat room.
I got to go back and watch that movie. Cult classic. Like, when you talk about the definition of a cult classic, it's that movie.
It really was. Give me one more text, Sean.
Another texter says, Billy Hockey Pucks. The Flyers can do no wrong in the eyes of Bill.
I don't know what I said.
You were so transparent. It's ridiculous.
I don't know what I've said.
You have not one critical word about this new regime.
Okay, listen. I am critical of John Tortorella in the decisions that he has made in benching players and failing to communicate with them properly. Sean Couturier, Cam York. I don't understand the whole Matvei Michkov thing. And I heard Tyrone say this, and he's exactly right. People saying he's got a great relationship with Michkov. Michkov barely speaks English, okay? So how great can that relationship be right now? So I think that's overblown. He's got such a great relationship. Tortorella doesn't speak Russian. Michkov barely speaks English. So it's impossible for them to have this great relationship that you keep hearing about. So I am critical of Tortorella at times. I'm not going to be critical of Danny Briere and Keith Jones when they just inherited this organization 2 years ago that had a devoid of talent, and they're trying to do what they can do to build this team the right way.
If those guys were not Flyer organization connected, would you have the same patience?
Yes.
You're lying to me.
I would. Because
you are a liar.
It's because of what Chuck Fletcher did to this team.
Oh, my God.
You have to now give these guys a chance. You can't get rid of them already.
You are poisoned. You drink from the well of poison.
What could Briere and Jones have done in these 2 years when you were devoid of talent? They're trying to build for the future. They weren't going to go out and make trades.
They just zipped 2 talented players that were supposed to be part of their future.
Because I guess
discarded them.
They're identifying them as not being the answer for the future.
They identified them because their headstrong head coach identified them as that. They were identified before as prospects.
They were big prospects.
You've been poisoned. All right.
In Danny we trust.
Danny we trust. 610-632-0975. Let's go back to the phones. We've got John from Abington on the line. John, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, John?
Hey, Mike and Bill. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to comment on the Torts. I was kind of with Bill, when they first hired him, I was, on board. But, as time's gone on and the team resets, I just think that's personally time for him to go. And I personally just think, like, the whole Mishkov thing is just so overblown. And, he plays him last night 20-plus minutes after benching him on Saturday for 9. I think just to personally stick it to the media.
Does he play those kind of games? Personally stick it to the media, Bill?
I wouldn't put it past Tortorella.
You know what also grinds my gears about Tortorella? Like, put on a dang suit behind the bench. Like,
he's one of the only coaches that I've pointed that out before. I actually was telling my wife that the other night. Like, he's one of the only coaches that doesn't wear a suit.
All right, he looks good in a black mock.
Yeah, he wears the
black mock. That's fine. That's
the black mock. The logo's also so small. Like, I don't get it.
I never got the hockey coach with the suit anyway, so that doesn't bug me as much.
He's better off putting on that that Super Bowl sweatshirt that Bill wore the other week.
Oh yeah, that was a fire shirt.
What do you think of Bill's shirt today? He got it painted on like a half an hour before the show.
It's a large.
It's a blue paint. They got the blue paint out and they slapped it on him. What do you think? He's like a Sports Illustrated model.
Can you hear
with the paint?
Can you hear the jealousy through the airwaves?
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for general knowledge, brother? You ready for general knowledge, John? All right, John. These are songs now by artists that begin with a C. So let's kick off your song. Go ahead, Sean.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
Oh, they took it from the movie, too.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that did.
You don't got it yet? Come on now.
Wait, Coolio.
It is Coolio. What's the name of the song?
I forget.
All right, you got Coolio.
I think he waited till people weighed in on YouTube.
Maybe he did. Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio. All right? So that's what's the score now?
3-1 callers.
3-1.
Before you hit me with a question, I want to correct something I said. The AI crossover of MJ was 28 years ago.
28 years
Not
ago.
25. It's amazing. People come at you, man. You're wrong.
Yeah, 28 years.
28 years ago to the day.
All right, Bill, this should be a layup for you.
So far, these have been easy.
Here is your tune.
Oh, CeeLo Green, baby. We'll say Forget You.
Forget You.
Although that's not the real name of the song.
It's really not. All right, Bill. You're inching closer. It's 3-2.
3-2. Wait, was that CeeLo Green or was that Gnarls Barkley?
CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green.
It was CeeLo Green. It wasn't Gnarls Barkley.
Because isn't CeeLo a part of Gnarls Barkley?
He was, and then that was a solo venture. 610-632-0975. We are back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles to trade CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. CJ Gardner Johnson is reportedly being traded to the Houston Texans for guard Kenyon Green. The Eagles will receive a 2025 fifth-round pick, and the Texans get a 2025 sixth-round pick. The Eagles have not agreed to a deal yet with a player from another team in free agency. ESPN's Adam Schefter does believe that the Eagles will see a few more players go coming shortly. The Flyers fell to the Senators last night, losing its fifth game in a row, and the Sixers are back in action tonight as the team is on the road in Toronto. Maxey, George, and Lowry all remain out. You can listen to the game on 97.5 The Fanatic later tonight. This update is also brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios aren't instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com for now. Get 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Sean Kincade.
If you dismiss losing your two best pass rushers on a Super Bowl team.
5:57. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. You got your Phillies are off today, right? They whacked somebody yesterday. Who'd they whack? Baltimore?
Early, too. Who was that yesterday?
Yeah, it was Baltimore because or was it Minnesota? It was Minnesota. It was Pablo Lopez.
It was Boston.
Oh, it was Boston. That's right. Minnesota the year before. So who?
18-8.
Lucas Giolito got routed, and he got out of the game because of an injury. So they scored 9 runs in the first 2 innings, I think. Phillies did.
Yes.
There you go. And that was with their B squad. Well, they had like a few starters. Bryson Stott is getting some acclaim here for getting his hitting stroke back. And apparently we have a really award-winning commercial that we're running with Bryson Stott.
I do not believe Bryson Stott will be appearing in any movies anytime soon.
Can we get a little of that commercial?
His acting is not great. Like, Tyrone's doing his best, but Bryson Stott's acting is not very good.
Can we find that commercial? I want to find that commercial. I want to play that commercial of Bryson Stott. No, I talked to Bryson. He seems like a nice kid. Like, what you're saying? He couldn't feel the vibe of a commercial?
Let's just say his acting may be worse than his ability to hit left-handed pitching.
Oh, now that's not right. He hit left-handed pitching a couple years ago pretty well.
It's pretty bad.
You're saying he botches this?
He just can't act. He just can't act.
Why didn't they do a retake?
I don't know, man.
So, in other words, he wasn't, he wasn't doing like we do the commercial and we go, "Hey, schedule National Loan's full service program, and you too." He's not doing that.
You'll have to hear it for yourself.
We'll have to hear it. Okay. Sean, are we able to get that?
I got it.
Oh, we'll do it later. Do it later.
Okay.
We'll do it in the 1 o'clock hour.
Yeah, Bryson.
Yeah, now
he needs acting lessons.
Coming up, we have a man who has dealt with John Tortorella as a Flyer beat reporter,
who I don't believe is
who got into a storied confrontation with him.
He pushed back, and
he did.
Tort doesn't like to get pushed back on.
All right, well, we're going to talk to Anthony San Filippo in a second, but right now I got to tell you that you are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on General Knowledge Wednesday on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. We broadcast from the Comcast Business Studios, empowering possibilities. So it is 1 o'clock, everybody. So let's welcome in, since we're talking a little bit of Tortorella today, we haven't talked about the Flyers very much. We're talking about the head coach and his mannerisms towards the press, but also the way he coaches a team. And he tries to put these old school lessons in there. He'll bench a guy and then he'll play a guy for 20 minutes, same guy the next night. He's trying to put lessons in there. Now, I don't know if that's the right way to coach or not, but he seems to have a really hard time explaining anything that he does, like as if he's above explaining everything he does. So let's bring in a man who he's now covering the Phillies for Patterson. Formerly of Crossing Broad.
Correct.
First of all, I want to straighten that out with him, what that whole dynamic is. But let's bring in Anthony San Filippo. Anthony, how you doing, Anthony?
I'm just doing good, guys.
Now, let's get this straight. So you were working with Crossing Swords.
Yes, for about 7 years, yes.
Right, and then and Crossing Swords used to be owned by the guy who now runs on Patterson.
Correct.
And so you moved over from there to there. So what's the dynamic between the two sites and whether they hate each other?
I think it's a friendly rivalry. I mean, I get along with all the people at Crossing Broad still. I like Kevin. I like Kyle. They're good guys, and they were always good to me. So I don't have a problem with them. There might be some friendly rivalry stuff as who gets this story up first or who gets that up first. And they take a couple of fun swipes at each other, but
all right. So let me just for the people who don't know, Kyle Scott used to run Crossing Swords, made like $1 zillion selling the site, and then Kevin Kincade took over, and then Kyle Scott undercuts his boy by having a competing site. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, he kind of partnered with another company to kind of create it. Right? Yeah,
and screwed his buddy while he was at it.
I bet you if Kyle Scott had his druthers, he would bring Kevin Kincade over to on Patterson.
Oh, he would?
Down the line, I would bet that's a possibility.
There could be some rancor. Let's see. All right, anyway, Anthony, thanks for checking in. Now, you went head-to-head with Torts for a few years, so Explain what it was like to deal with a coach like that.
He's an interesting character, right? He likes to run things his way, and he likes confrontation. And when that first happened, first of all, it came out of the blue. Like, I was not expecting it. I'm not a beat guy who's there every day like I used to be back in the day. I do 6 million things, so I'm kind of down there on game nights we do our podcast live from the arena because we're partnered with the team. Like, I have a contract that's a partnership with the Philadelphia Flyers. And I guess he didn't take too kindly to a report that I put out on the podcast. And a week after the fact, brought it up at a press conference looking for me. Brought it. And I said, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm him. And he, attacked me for it. And then anytime I tried to ask a question after that, he just decided to not answer my question until one point I pushed back and said, well, it's fine. You're not going to answer my question. Somebody else will ask the same question. And he got really pissed off about it. So,
did anybody else ask the same question?
It did. Kevin Kurz from the Athletic. Kudos to him. It did it. Yeah, he asked the same question that I did. So, and Torts didn't like it. Look, I mean, that's what he does. What he does with his players, right? He kind of likes confrontation. He wants his players to come at him a little bit. He feels that that's a good thing. I don't like to play that game. I don't like being part of the story. I didn't like being, a national story last year, but it was what it was because he made it that way. I made efforts to try and talk to the guy. It never really came to be. So, it is what it is.
Let me ask this question. This guy's covered hockey for a long time. We're talking to Anthony San Filippo. Does his methodology work these days, this day and age? I mean, we're in the year 2025. Players get the red butt really quickly anymore. Even these young kids get the red butt. Like, does he carry the same sway that he used to?
Mike, I think that there's a reason that there is only one coach in the National Hockey League who was born before the year 1960. It doesn't quite equate, I think, anymore the way it used to. And, he's trying to meet them on a different plane nowadays, but I don't necessarily think it translates. I just get the sense, and you hear it from guys. I mean, Joel Farabee made a passing snide comment in Calgary the other day about, Torts not trusting him. And, those things happen. And these guys, they want better one-on-one communication from the coach, and the coach wants them to get mad and go to him. And I think that there's that buffer zone that they just don't reach it. And I don't think it's working. I mean, he's 3 years in now, and it's the same thing over and over again, just with different players every time.
Listen, the guys that run this franchise right now have immunity with the fan base, at least for a while.
For a little bit.
How do you think that is playing out with them the way he coaches? Are they in lockstep with him?
They have been to this point because the key for them, they knew they weren't going to be good for a while, so they were keen on building culture for the players that they had and developing that culture. And they believe that Torts at least brings that element. And to his credit, he has done a good job with that and getting buy-in on playing a defensive system, right, in a modern-day NHL that doesn't really focus on that a lot. So I think there has been that buy-in. But if you're going to go forward and suddenly become a good team again starting next season and maybe contend for a playoff spot and beyond, John Tortorella's style might not be the style you want, especially if you're going to be drafting high and bringing in high-skilled players. You don't want to curb their abilities and their skill by forcing them to play a style that they don't play. And so that's why I think fans get upset, because you look at Mishkov, who's could be the rookie of the year in the NHL, could be the Calder Trophy winner, and he gets benched because he makes a bad play defensively. And fans get fired up because they're paying for tickets to go see Mishkov, not to see a next-to-last place hockey team.
All right. Now, so my final question to you is, and by the way, it's your lucky day because I'm going to give you a general knowledge question that happens to be a Philly-oriented question, and you covered a team, so you should slay this. But is the hockey media in this town tough enough?
It's not what it used to be, Mike. And I don't want to take shots at these at other individuals, because I do think they all work hard. I just think that they work differently than we used to work. I'm from that old school that you were from, where in journalism, where it was, you challenged the players and the coaches and the general managers, every day. And now it's not so much that. Now it's kind of just whatever the team feeds you, you report, and everybody reports the same thing. So you don't have a lot of that digging going on anymore. So I wish that element would be back in the coverage, but it doesn't exist right now in a lot of journalism, but certainly not in Philadelphia hockey.
Yeah. All right. You're going against Bill Colarulo here in this matchup.
This is dangerous.
Now, the Phillies, Anthony, have had 10 second basemen in history to make the All-Star team.
Wow.
Give me 5 of them.
Wow. 10. Well, Chase Utley.
Yep.
Let's go Dave Cash.
Correct.
Let's go Granny Hamner.
He was a shortstop.
It's a good pull, though.
Go.
We'll let you continue. Go ahead.
I was trying to go old school there. Manny Trio.
That's correct.
Wow. I'm trying to say who am I?
How quickly you forget.
Placido Polanco.
Placido Polanco is correct.
Wow.
Yes.
You got one. You got one more.
Geez. I'm lost. I don't have the next.
You ready for this? Juan Samuel.
Oh, geez, yes.
Mariano Duncan.
I never would have gotten that.
Mickey Morandini.
Really?
Yes. All right, man. Hey, listen, thanks for checking in.
You got it. Anytime.
Anthony San Filippo is covering the Phillies for on Patterson after he left Crossing Swords.
He does the Flyer stuff.
He does the Flyer stuff as well. All right, Bill. This is your chance to go ahead. Bill.
Tie it.
Oh, to tie it.
Right, because you're not giving them that. So it's 3-2.
Bill, 7 Phillies have made the All-Star team at third base in history. Give me 4 of them.
Alec Boehm.
Correct.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
Correct.
Scott Rowland.
Correct.
And
hit a wall. He hit a wall, folks.
Pedro Feliz.
Incorrect. Dave Hollins.
Hollins. I remember Dave Hollins.
Made the All-Star team.
Oh, from the 93 Phils.
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
There's no reason to panic, but we've
Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Have you lowered your expectations for the Eagles? Are you still at the same level? Do you still think they can compete? Or are you just, we got one. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. I'm in bliss. Whatever happens next year, that happens. And on that note, CJ Gardner Johnson, dispatched, thrown away. Will it hurt the Eagles? Do you like that trade? Most of the people are a little upset at that trade, which I find very interesting, Bill. And the chat board has been kind of busy all day with that, right?
Yeah, I don't have any specific chats right now, but a majority of people aren't happy that you just traded away Chauncey, because I think it's very rare that in a 3-year span you get to see what a team looks like with and without a player on your squad. Like 2022, you had a really good defense. You go to the Super Bowl, you had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson a part of that team. You let him walk, and then you saw that your defense really lacked that aggression, that chip on their shoulder in 2023. Howie Roseman said as such, we need guys who have a chip on their shoulder. They go out, they bring back Chauncey, and now you got the best defense in the league that clearly played with an edge, and you let the guy walk again. So you just have to hope that other players can step up and deliver that edge. Now, I think you got guys like that with Jalen Carter and Zach Bond and Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. So maybe that'll be the difference from what you saw in 23. Because in 23, there was nobody that would punch you in the mouth on that defense.
Yeah.
None.
True.
So I don't love it. I'm reserving judgment until I see what they do at that position. But it is going to be it's going to be tough to just do what a lot of fans are saying, which is, they'll be fine. They're going to draft players. They'll be fine. That's not usually how it works. We've been spoiled the last couple seasons.
All right, but all trust in Howie, because he said, hey, be patient. We'll get it together. It's General Knowledge Wednesday today, folks. 5 spots are at stake for you to be in the knockout tournament, which a lot of people look forward to. You'll get tickets to the game, and then after the game, you'll come down from the stands and go on the Sixers court and play knockout. Now, we usually have big attendance for that, like, 100 people usually?
I don't know. There were a ton of people last year, and it is. It's a lot of fun.
But
it is a lot of fun.
In addition to that today, at stake is a $100 gift certificate to Nebraska Steakhouse, a Brazilian steakhouse.
No pun intended. See what you did there? You said at stake, a $100 gift card. See, that's a veteran move right there, Sean.
Thank you. Nebraska Steakhouse serves meat, all kinds of meat. Brazilian Steakhouse, all you can eat meat.
Now, do they have a
salad bar?
Salad bar too?
Oh, absolutely.
See, that's the problem I always have when I go to these Brazilian steakhouses. Is sometimes I do a little too much salad bar, and then I realize, oh man,
I'm a big artichoke heart and palm.
Heart of palm.
Heart of palm, man.
Big artichoke guy. I love artichoke hearts. The heart of palm. Not as much as the artichoke.
Yeah, there's not much taste to the heart of palm.
No, but the artichoke hearts, very underrated.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you got to put a little salt on the heart of palm.
Yeah, the artichoke hearts as is. I like those on a nice salad.
All right. So anyway, to get in, we're in the final hour of this. Bill is losing to the audience, so the audience is in good shape to cull or to collect a few of these here. 610-632-0975, and I think the topics are suitable today. Very suitable topics. Let's get back to the phones. We've got Brian from Pottstown. Brian, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Brian? Hello, Brian. I see. No, there's another breakdown. I could hear it.
Yeah, because he doesn't get to hear the show.
No.
So someone has to tell him before we go to him, we're going to you.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't flow as well with this new.
Yeah. So I guess we don't have Brian.
I'm working on. I'm trying to talk to him at the moment.
Yeah, this temporary system is going to be tough.
It is. It's killing us. It really is. I'm sorry. It's killing us. I don't like it.
Well, we'll get there. They're rolling out a brand new system.
Hey, can I go over to the window and yell, hey, Brian from Pottstown, what's your question? Can we do that? It seems to be safer.
Yeah, I know that Preston and Steve were using Zoom as a workaround.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, they were doing Zoom calls to try to work.
How would we do that?
I don't know. I don't know how they were able to pull the Zoom calls up on the air, but they were using Zoom. I know they were doing something like Zoom roulette or something like that, which was interesting.
Really interesting.
Well, why don't you hit me with a question then?
Oh, you want a music question?
Give me a chance.
A general knowledge question. Are we at music? Or are we at general knowledge?
Well, we just did Phillies, so I don't know what's
we're
next.
at general knowledge. All right. Well, this will be a bop for you. What are fairy rings made of?
Fairy rings?
Yeah.
Pixie dust?
Wait, first of all, what is a fairy ring?
I don't know.
That's the question. What is a fairy ring? A fairy ring, also known as fairy circle, elf ring, or pixie ring, is a naturally occurring ring or arc of... I can't give you that.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
The correct answer is mushrooms.
I wouldn't.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so disqualify that question.
All right, you'll get this one though. What sport was the subject of the movie Senna and Rush? Uh-oh.
I don't know it.
Uh-oh, you didn't see these movies?
Senna and Rush. Race car driving.
It's not an exact answer. It's not as exact.
Formula One.
Formula One is correct.
Formula One, okay. I knew Rush. I didn't know the Senna one.
Senna. Ayrton Senna.
I didn't see
the Formula One driver.
All right, we got a 3-3 game, though.
We do have 3-3 game. So do we have our caller or no? He's out?
No, I couldn't get him.
Oh, man. There you go. He's gone. Let's go back to the text board then. What do you got, Sean? What are they saying?
All right. In relation to CJ Gardner Johnson trade, one texter says, I do think Fangio has an unusual talent of getting performances out of players that without him wouldn't blossom. Bond and every other defensive player that looked common until Vic Fangio showed up.
I agree. I am that high on Fangio, and that's why when they moved on from all these other players, I go, Fangio didn't want him. You know, he's given his opinion. This guy, we can move on. This guy here, I can replace him. I think that's what type of guy he is.
I agree to an extent. Look, I think that our judgment's a little bit skewed, though, because of what he did with Zach Bond and because of how bad the defense was 2 years ago to what it is now. I mean, make no mistake, Fangio is a good coach, but the guy's not a miracle worker. Like, he still needs players that have talent. Like, Nolan Smith didn't look great as a rookie, really came on last year. But he was a first-round draft pick.
Right.
So, Jalen Carter, an absolute stud. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. These guys had first-round grades coming out of the draft for a reason. So, I don't want people to think that anybody could just come in here and Fangio is going to coach him up. Like that, the Zach Bond thing is the exception. It's not the norm.
All right. 610-632-0975 as we're headed down the home stretch on the Mike Missanelli Show for today. It's your show, and it's General Knowledge Wednesday. So get in if you can. We apologize if you're having trouble. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles are going to trade CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm Sean Rodman, and this is your Fanatic Sports Update. CJ Gardner Johnson is reportedly being traded to the Houston Texans for guard Kenyon Green. The Eagles will receive a 2025 fifth-round pick, and the Texans will get a 2025 sixth-rounder. The Eagles have not agreed to a deal yet with a player from a team of another team last season. ESPN's Adam Schefter was on Kincade and Salciunas earlier, and he said that he expects the Eagles to see a few more players depart before they bring some in. The Flyers fell to the Senators last night, losing its fifth game in a row, and the Sixers are back in action tonight as the team is on the road in Toronto. Maxey, Paul George, and Kyle Lowry remain out. Oubre Jr., Andre Drummond are both questionable. You can listen to the game on 97.5 The Fanatic later today. And this update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fanatic Weekend with Andrew DiCecco.
When you look at the Eagles' history at trying to
It's 128, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, Bill had been talking to me about this commercial that Bryson Stott apparently doesn't come off very well. And he goes, you hear this commercial? Bryson Stott. It's like he's reading. All right, so we found
very bad acting.
We found it. So this is Bryson Stott in a commercial with Tyrone.
Yeah, Tyrone's fine. It's just Bryson Stott. Come on, man.
All right, let's hear. Let's see what we got.
Hey, Bryson Stott, you know what we both have in common?
Hey, Tyrone Johnson, I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me?
We both have a new vehicle from Barlow Chevrolet.
That's right. I absolutely love my new Chevy from Barlow, and I bet you love yours too. At Barlow, they have something for everyone, and you could always trust their friendly team for honest prices and dedicated service every day.
Visit them in Delran or at barlowchevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Hey, Bryson, you know what we have in common? I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me?
That's the part. It's right there. Like I said, Tyrone's doing his best, but Tyrone's doing his best, but Bryson, I don't know, Tyrone Johnson.
I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me?
Come on, Bryson.
You know what? I'm the Barlow people. I think they're producing a commercial. All right, Bryson, listen, take two.
I gotta ask.
Man.
I gotta ask Tyrone how many takes Bryson had to do for that. It wasn't even that hard of a line.
Take two. Hey, Bryson, listen, we love you. We're giving you a new car, the whole bit, but can you give me a little more feeling?
I don't know, Tyrone Johnson. Why don't you tell me? It's hard to even do it as bad as he did it, Bryson Stott.
Let's hear the first line again. I want to hear the first line again. Go ahead, Sean. Play it again.
Hey, Bryson Stott, you know what we both have in common?
Hey, Tyrone Johnson, I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me?
We both have a new vehicle from Barlow Chevrolet.
All right, that's enough. Hey, Tyrone Johnson, I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me? It's hysterical. You better be able to hit, bro.
Yeah, he's not Bryson Stott. Come on, man.
Bryson, you're from Vegas. You should know a little bit of Showtime.
It's almost as bad as those commercials for The Cure when they do the fake press conferences. You got Kyle Schwarber. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. You know, the Rat Pack's rolling over in their grave because he's got a Las Vegas tattoo on his arm. Bryson does. He's
a Vegas guy.
Yeah, he's got the Welcome to Las Vegas sign tattooed on his arm.
I didn't even know that.
You're Las Vegas. Can you imagine a Rat Pack doing it that way? Hello, Sammy.
Bryson Stott. I don't know.
What happened to your eye, man?
Dude, what an idiot I am. I wish this was. Thank God it's not on video. We have these balls everywhere. So there's this little small basketball. I was throwing it against the wall. Maybe I'm getting old. My hand-eye coordination. I threw it against the wall. It bounced back. I missed it. It hit me in the eye.
You know what that is? You got no skills.
Dude, seriously, I looked like I've never caught a ball in my life.
Really? That's no skills.
You see my eye? It's like watering.
Yeah. So imagine a ground ball being hit to you.
So what position did you play in football again?
I had great hands, too.
Yeah, you had with an oblong item.
In my defense,
a round ball coming right at you, had no instinct.
In my defense, the ball that I was throwing up against the wall, I was bouncing it and throwing up against the wall. There's a major chunk missing because somebody's dog bit it. I'm not going to say whose.
My dog.
So it bounced in a very weird way that I wasn't anticipating.
My dog Shima bit it.
So it's Shima's fault.
Bit a hole in it. But
it's her fault.
You got no skills. Speaking of this Tortorella thing, I remember, I was a very fair questioner until someone tried to bully me.
Who tried to bully you?
Well, Jim Fregosi used to try it all the time.
Oh, really?
So, and he would try to do that to everybody, right? So one time he tried to do it to me, and I waited for everybody to get out of the manager's room where he used to conduct this thing. I go, do me a favor. I go, listen, I don't have I didn't play in major leagues. I don't have your pedigree as a major league manager, but I played at a pretty decent level of baseball. I think I know what I'm talking about. Do me a favor. Don't treat me like one of these club reporters you try to bully in there.
How do you respond?
When I ask you a question, I'm asking you a good question based on my knowledge of the game that you try to poo-poo. I said, don't do that anymore.
Did he respond kindly?
He goes, well, I don't know. You know the game. I go, well, trust me. I know the game a little bit more than these idiots you're trying to bully a little bit. So don't try the same technique with me. I don't tolerate that. Like, listen, we're both grown-ups, right? We're both gentlemen. You got a job, I got a job. I'm asking you a legitimate question based on my knowledge. It's not a stupid question, all right? You want to make every question like it's stupid and you're so far above it. Homie, don't play. I don't play that game. I mean, I asked a legitimate question.
I just did a quick Google search. There's an article of you saying he was a total jerk. He took an attitude that he invented the game of baseball.
That's exactly what he did.
And we members of the media ought to be just thankful for letting him educate us.
Where was that story? What was that story about?
I don't know.
Where was that? Where did you pick that one up?
This is from, I don't even know this website, Mainline Media News.
Mainline Media News? I don't know.
And it says, sports talk turns red hot when Missanelli's at the mic.
Is that what it is? So anyway, Andy Reid tried to do that to me, too. And I go, okay, I asked the question. He would never answer, like, you know how he used to be. He used to be so aloof in press conferences. And I go down there one day, and that was when he had that failed, stupid play at the goal line where he tried to have Ronnie Brown flip it back to the quarterback. And so I asked him the question about it. And he tried to, like bully me. Like, well, you're being very bold. I go, well, is that a play that you would practice at that point at the goal line? You practice that in your goal line play calling? And he goes, well, if you come to practice more, maybe you would find out. I go, I don't need to be at your practice to know whether that's a good or bad play. I don't. And nobody, I go, I'm looking around like I'm an alien. Like nobody, rarely do people push back. And I'm going, why not?
Andy
Get
Reid.
the answers.
Andy Reid going from Philly to Kansas City. You talk about a change in media.
It was a godsend for him.
Oh, definitely.
But still, people here didn't really press up on him. He got away with a lot of nonsense of non-answers.
Well, yeah, he was the king of non-answers, Andy.
Well, anyway, I'm not trying to think that I'm the be-all, end-all of a reporter. I just wonder, if you want to get to the truth, you got to ask questions that will get to the truth. You are serving one master, the people that either listen to you or the people that read you. And the master is not John Tortorella or Jim Fregosi or Andy Reid.
It's the fans.
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalik.
What do you think about the Eagles accepting they're going to go to the White House and celebrate their Super Bowl championship? How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with it, man. I don't care. I don't care who the president is. I think it's
for you.
I think it's nice when you win, you go and you do all that.
Fantastic.
But I think it should be left up to the players. If you don't feel comfortable going, you don't go. But I'm okay with it. Well, there was all the misinformation at first. There was that stuff that they weren't invited and all that. But I'm all right.
Oh. Yeah, I think they really should go after what he said about the NFL and their players and call them son of a bitches and all that stuff. I think they really ought to just go and forget all about that stuff.
I think I hear sarcasm.
Well, no, I think you're right. I think they should just go and just forget about that, especially if you're a black player. Forget about all the racial stuff he said over the years. Just go to the White House and say, hey, man, can I have a cheeseburger? You just do all that stuff. That would be great.
Well, it's not just about it's not just about
Get
the
that
president.
son of a bitch off the field right now. He's fired. Anybody who respects our flag by kneeling in protest for racial discrimination is a terrible person.
But I think it's more than just the president. I do. I think it's more than that. You get invited to the White House. It's more than just who's the president at the time.
I think you're right. I think it's fantastic. All right, let's go back to the text board there. Let's go. Sean, what do you got on the text board?
All right, next up on the text board, we have someone checking in on the CJ GJ deal. It says, I won't lie, I cried when I saw CJ GJ got traded. I cried when we let him go last time, and I was probably the most hyped to get him back. But we got a 3-time Super Bowl roster-building GM. I trust this man to maybe get us a repeat, but put us right in the mix to do so, and also go for a few more down the line.
Well... he cried? I don't know. Maybe you want to get your emotions in check a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of things to cry for. I don't know about GJ getting traded or getting moved out of the organization twice.
Yeah.
That's a little overreaction, I think. But hey, to each his own on the emotions.
That's the type of emotions we get from Eagles fans, which is great. But, yeah, I wouldn't cry over CJ. I don't think he's crying. I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah, all right. Well, in any event. What else we got, Sean?
Next up on the text line, I think that it'll be hard to replace CJ GJ coming in from a safety, especially with the young talent. I'm not sure I fully believe in them yet.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, Bill, since it's General Knowledge Wednesday, you're behind, right?
No, it's tied 3-3.
Oh, you're tied? All right, so we got Ron in Allentown. Ron, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Ron?
What's going on, boys?
How are you, man?
Hello?
Yes, we got you, buddy. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I've been trying to get a hold of you guys from Binghamton, New York to Allentown, VA.
Oh, that's how long you've been trying to call in?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is really, I'm really ticked off now at this whole thing because we were told something and apparently sold a bill of goods, and it's affecting our audience. And the engineers need to fix this, like, pronto.
I like the show enough. I like the teams enough to keep trying. So we're here. We're good. All
right. I appreciate it, Ron. For all the people that got beaten down trying to call into the show today, we apologize. We will make sure we rectify this problem.
I have full confidence.
All right. Go ahead, buddy.
So another thing, I have full confidence in Howie, too. I mean, like, I looked at it, I was like, if I had to lose a coordinator, I would have rather lost Kellen than Vic. Our offense is stout. We're locked up there. I think we got an anchor on the defensive line. We got an anchor at linebacker. We got some good secondary players. We got some holes to fill in, but we were the number one defense last year, so every other team has to play catch up to us, and now it's just incumbent upon us to kind of fill those gaps. So there's no reason that we can't repeat. We just got to do the right things and maybe even get lucky.
Yeah, I got you. Like, getting lucky, it's like I would rather be in a better position than to get lucky. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I think that Howie looks at it and goes, listen, we can't possibly win another Super Bowl because of what we had to go through. But we've got enough immunity where fans are just so delighted that we won a Super Bowl, and that gives us a little more time to regenerate and get back to a Super Bowl winning caliber.
2 out of 3 in 8 years. I mean, we can't complain too much. Yeah. And when I say lucky, I mean in the draft.
Oh, okay.
Or if one of these younger guys that hasn't had starting time comes up, That's what I mean when I say lucky. I don't mean lucky that.
Okay,
like,
yeah, all right. I'm glad you cleared that up. That's fantastic. Thanks for clearing that up. But I think Howie knows he's got a little bit more immunity right now than before.
Playing with some house money, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, buddy. It is time for your general knowledge question. Musical acts by the letter C. So these bands have to start with the letter C. So let's. There we go. There we go. There's the first one.
The Cars.
Correct. The Cars.
Yeah.
Nice
my
work.
Best friend's girl. The Cars. Wow. My man got it. Good job, buddy. I appreciate it. There you go. That's Ron from Allentown getting the Cars. I was a big Cars fan, by the way.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. You remember who the lead singer was? You remember that video had the fly and it would fly on his face?
I don't.
No? Rick Ocasek.
Because Cars are 80s, right?
Yes. Rick Ocasek, like alternative. Rick Ocasek was the lead singer, and Benjamin Orr also was the lead singer. But Rick Ocasek was one of the homeliest rock stars you could ever find. He married Paulina Portskova, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model.
Wow, I just pulled that up as you said it. Yeah, he's playing above the rim. But I guess when you're when you're a rock star,
yeah, all right,
it doesn't matter.
I guess he had the rock star clout. All right, Bill, can you keep up? Oh my God, Karma Chameleon by the Culture Club. I thought you were going to say Boy George there for a second.
I knew it was C.
Oh.
I thought Boy George, and I'm like, wait. No, it's the letter C.
Good work by you, man.
All right, 4-4. We got a battle.
It is a battle. We're coming down the home stretch. Should I let you try to get ahead? Should we go with another one? Should we go? Okay. Let's continue the music here and see if anybody would call in to try to challenge you. In other words, if you get this right, you go ahead.
So I'm getting all 5 spots to knock out and the $100 Nebraska gift card.
No, we're still going to give them to the people who got stuff correctly today. But hold on a second. Turn your head, Bill. Turn your head. Let's go with.
Oh, you got to whisper to him what you need? I'm taking off the headphones.
All right. I got it. I got the submission in.
All right, let's see what we got.
Are you ready? All right, Sean. Go ahead. Hit.
The Clash.
Oh, no.
Is that right?
That's correct.
No. That's a pretty good pull.
Oh, man. I'm defeated. Bill surges ahead.
I think I got every song.
I think you may
because
have.
I had Coolio. I had, who are the other ones? Christina Aguilera.
You had Christina Aguilera right out of the chute, Genie in a Bottle. You had CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green.
You had, Coolio was gotten by the audience. You got Culture Club. You got The Clash. Wow. Pretty impressive. You had 4 right.
But I think I got every Phillies one wrong.
All right, you want to try a Phillies one?
Yeah, hit me with another Phillies question. I was close on the third baseman.
All right. Center fielders. The Phillies have had 5 all-star center fielders. Give me 3 of them.
Lenny Dykstra.
Correct.
Shane Victorino.
Incorrect.
Oh, Victorino never made an all-star
No.
game? Gary Maddox.
Incorrect.
Hold on. 3 all-star center fielders, and the only one I got was Dykstra?
You're missing an all-timer.
Richie Ashburn.
Yes. So now you got 1 more to go. And they were both kind of in the modern era, and you would never think of them as all-star players.
Doug Glanville.
No.
I don't know, man.
One smashed his face into a fence.
Oh, Aaron Rowan.
And one, I can't believe he made an all-star team, but he embarrassingly limped out of town because of some off-the-field situation.
Oh, Herrera.
Odubel Herrera made the All-Star team.
Yeah, it's a surprise. I would not have gotten any of those. I didn't remember Aaron Rowan making an All-Star game. I forgot about that.
Aaron Rowan made the All-Star game.
Yeah, he was loved forever, man, when he ran into that wall.
All right, I'll give you one more since we're coming. We only have a few minutes left.
Wait, but hold on. Victorino never made an All-Star game, huh?
He's not listed.
Hold on. That doesn't seem right. Flying Hawaiian? Never made an All-Star team? 2-time All-Star.
Really?
2009.
Maybe this is people that were starters. I don't know. Whatever it is, he wasn't on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a record-breaking 15.6 million votes on July 2009.
Then that's
Wait, so I think I got it correct.
I think you got it correct. Give yourself correct. All right, we have Jay on the line, our last caller of the day. Jay, go ahead.
What's up, Mike?
What's up,
Bill? What's up, guys? How we doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I just wanted to take a couple seconds talk about the upcoming season. Me and the wife just got back from Clearwater. Amazing time.
Wow.
The fans are amazing. I'm very, very excited about the how the offense is looking. We went to the games on Tuesday and Thursday. Thursday, Nola pitched. He looked phenomenal. He looked lights out. His stuff looked great. Matt Kepler hit a home run.
Oh, he's a unit. He's a basher.
Throw a ball.
Max Kepler.
Yeah, I'm so excited. When we signed him, I was ecstatic. I'm like, this dude is going to be
look at
absolutely amazing for us.
Oh, you were on the Max Kepler bandwagon. Bill wasn't.
That's why I want to win knockout and go against Phil.
Oh, you want to take him out? I agree. Take him out.
Absolutely.
He's too muscle-bound to be a good free throw shooter. Got no flexibility at the line.
Yeah, but what you're not realizing is if when you miss it, you get the opportunity to go get the rebound and do all those things. That's where I'm...
Yeah, I got you. All right, man. You want a general knowledge question?
Yes, sir. Hook me up.
Phillies question. 11 Phillies have made All-Star at the catching position. Give me 5 All-Star catchers that the Phillies have had.
All right, let's go with Dutch.
That's 1.
Mike Lieberthal.
That's 2.
JT Realmuto.
That's 3.
Oh God, I'm reaching right now. I had them right off the bat. Them first 3.
Oh, you're missing a modern guy. You're missing a modern guy.
I know, and I know I can think. We're thinking of the same person. I just can't get to it.
Oh no, God. You're not thinking of this person. You would have gotten this guy. He had a nickname. Oh man, I can't believe it. He had a nickname. He's not getting it. He's out. He's out.
Did Ruiz make it?
Huge.
Yeah.
Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, that seemed too obvious.
You go back in time. You got Bob Boone. Lance Parrish made an All-Star team here. And Ozzie Virgil.
I didn't know that one.
How about that? All right. Bill,
I think it was a 6-4 win for me.
It was a 6-4 win for you, yes. But the 4 people, one of them will get the $100 Nebraska gift card. 3 of them will get the knockout. You'll get to participate in the knockout. So we had 4 correct answers today.
Not too bad. And thanks to Sean Rodman for filling in today.
Yeah, nice job, Sean. How was your time the last 2 days?
It was good. A lot of fun.
You sound like Bryson Stott.
Sean, you're a man of very few words. Do you ever get excited?
Of course.
You do?
Yes, but I was only here today, so that's why I was a little confused.
Do you ever get crazy, go nuts?
Yes.
All right, man.
Did you cry when Chauncey got traded?
Oh, I shed lots of tears.
He was very sentimental. Thanks for listening. We apologize again for the call problems. We'll have it straightened out tomorrow. I swear we will, or I'll throw something. Everybody have a great